What's up guys, Power of the Barn here. Before we get into the video, I just wanted to say a few things. First of all, I wanted to talk about Kyle and Ford. Here they are right here. In the video, we say that if they're both on the front row, your opponent can only attack MC. This is not true. This was a translation error at the time of recording of the video. And we said that Kyle and Ford synergized with Eirika 5-4 MC very well as a result. This is incorrect. It turns out that all Kyle and Ford do is prevent your opponent from critting non-MC if they're both in the front row. So they're actually really shitty, and as a result, Eirika MC is really shitty too. Just ignore everything we say about Eirika MC in the video and pretend that everything that we say about Ephraim MC in the video, pretend that we're saying that about Eirika MC as well, because the two are basically the same as MC. We talked about Eirika's potential to splash in the video as well. That's still relevant. Eirika is still a very solid splash. Kyle and Ford being terrible doesn't change this. She's just not as good as MC. Second thing I wanted to mention in the video is that during the Lyon review, I kind of shit on Chrom a lot. I call him the worst deck in the game. I say that he runs 20 Risen. Obviously, I know this isn't true, and I've actually mentioned that later in the video, but I mentioned it at the very end of the video. So, to put it bluntly, I'm basically saying this to cover my ass. I don't want to get mauled in the comments section. I swear I'm not an asshole. Either way, now that I've gotten both of those things out of the way, I want to talk about the general structure of the video a bit. This is a pretty long video. We review all of the cards in the set, or at least all of the relevant cards in the set we review as significant or relevant, or at the very least interesting enough to give a review on. And all of the cards that we spend a good deal of time talking about in this video, I will be posting links to the times in the video where we talk about those cards in the video, in the description, kind of as like a table of contents type thing. So be sure to consult that if you don't feel like sitting through a 2-hour video, in which case I don't blame you. Yeah, that's all. I hope you enjoyed the video.
What's up guys, Power of the Barn here. I am joined by Lux and Vince.
Hola.
Hello.
So...
Why are you laughing? We're barely starting.
Whatever.
Professional recording.
Yes, we're not quite as professional as Cipher, fair. That should be very obvious from the start of this video. But either way, we're making this video. This is going to be a long one, so grab your popcorn. We're going to be going...
Popcorn.
I just finished eating.
This fucking guy, man. Okay, so... we're going through set 11, we're going through all of the cards, we're going to give our thoughts on them. So how we're going to do this is we're going to give all of the cards a rating between 1 to 5 stars.
Yep.
1 and 2 stars is memes, basically.
Memes.
Not really...
3 is standard, right?
Yeah. 3 is like... If it's usable, if it has any merit in anything that's good at all,
Fringe
then
useless.
it's a 3. Yeah. 4 is like decent, it has like...
Some viability
Yeah, it
outside
has-
of like 1 or 2 lines.
Yeah, and then 5 is like the really good shit.
Yeah, like the shit you want to buy on Yacht or
So like, an
Buy it
example,
now.
1 is like Ogma SR, 2
Please nah. Oh, my SR is not even on the list.
2 would be like
I would give Ogma SR 0 stars.
yeah, but honestly that's like
Can we give it
worse.
negative stuff?
So
Yeah,
I'm
give
guessing
Og-
so
1 would be like Sigurd, 2 would be like what would be a good example for 2? Like ST Marth, or not ST Marth. No, ST Marth is good, my bad. I meant to say set 1 SR Marth, like that would be a 2. Like not completely unusable, but not very good. Like you wouldn't realistically use it in anything.
Okay, we're talking about this enough. Let's go to the
Yeah.
card reveals.
3
Yeah.
would, yeah, whatever. I'm rambling. But I also want to say that we're, for each of the ratings, we're also going to be...
discussing the card.
We're going... I should hope so. But we're also going to be mentioning whether we're rating them based off of their potential as main character, or as Splash, exactly. Because a lot of cards, like you take a look at a card like Strategist Elise, broken card as MC, but as far as Splash is concerned, she's like really
She has some
bad.
problems.
And then it's like the opposite situation with a card like Nino. Like best Splash in the game probably, but as far as MC is concerned, she's kind of like you can use her, but it's whatever. So yeah,
That's fair.
I've rambled enough.
Let's do this.
Yeah, let's get
Let's
right
begin.
into this.
Starting
So-
with B1101 as
We have
Eirika.
Eirika, so
None. Man, remember when we saw it first on stream? Everyone was like, "Oh my god, it's Eirika."
You know, people were hyping up Sacred Stones for the longest
I know,
time.
right?
yeah, it's a damn shame.
And then,
man.
actually, I
Just-
think Eirika's okay. I think Eirika's a true. Just mainly because, like, prevent destruction. There's cards like Seth that work with her. And she has a built-in pull, so she acts kind of like something like 4-3, but comes out till later.
So
I'll give her a 3-star as well. Potential splash, potential MC.
I
It's
find
alright.
that very generous.
Yeah.
I guess you can run her as a splash. Actually, that's fair. I guess you could run her
Yeah,
instead
exactly.
of Ellie would if you want pull for purple.
Yeah, because Ellie would requires you to
Ellie
draw
would-
a card.
Ellie wouldn't egg your hand. So
Yeah,
it
exactly.
depends,
Yeah,
it,
it's
depends,
like-
it depends what you rally more, the one bond or the one card.
yeah, it depends. On
And
your
as an
deck.
MC,
Because
As an
sometimes
MC
just discarding
Yeah,
a
that's
card
right.
Yeah.
is less valuable than flipping a bond.
Yeah. So, as far as splash goes, I actually hadn't considered that, but that is pretty interesting. I think that is a fairly like it's a pretty reasonable niche, I'd say.
also for going for Eirika 5-4 as MC, you do have cards like Seth and 3-2 Eirika to help you out, so it isn't too even
does
that
Seth
bad.
really help you out? I don't know. If
It's plus 10, but is a opponent plus 10 is one of the unit that's pretty sticky on field.
But
I would say it's okay.
I'll give Eirika a 3 out of 5 as MC, and the reason for this is because No Name actually mentioned an absolutely hilarious interaction. You use Eirika and Kyle and Ford. So Kyle's skill is if this unit is on the front row, units
You
on
only can
your,
attack MC.
your units on the opponent's front row can only attack
Oh my
MC.
God.
Ford
Then
is
you
the
have
same
Ford.
thing except it applies to units on the opponent's
To
back
back
row.
row.
So you have Kyle,
Yes.
Ford, and Eirika on the front row.
So
Eirika
they
is
only
your
can attack
MC.
the actual level Eirika.
They can only attack Eirika, but Eirika has her skill. Hang on, I'll pull it up real quick.
Yep.
Talking about this card, you guys can't even see her skills, but basically,
Thanks, dude.
Courage to Confront skill. That while you control two or more of her purple units in the same row as this unit cannot be destroyed, and this applies even if
Yep.
she's main character. So it's pretty hilarious. Certain decks just auto lose to it because the only way you can deal with it is either if you
Is
have
destruction.
Destruction
Main-
or
Destruction.
Mordecai.
You just smite them to the back.
But yeah, anything that can move units from the front row to the back row also
Yeah.
work, but that shit's like super uncommon, so yeah, not
Yeah.
really.
I mean, that's actually a really interesting interaction.
So
I
it
forgot
is
about that.
actually interesting because a lot of decks just straight up don't have a way to deal with it. But if you're against a deck that does have a way to deal with it, then you kind of boned because you're running a
Yeah,
bunch
you wasted
because
10 supports.
yeah, your main pro
You're
is
running a
like
bunch
a
of weird
5/4 that doesn't really do much of anything, and you just have like a bunch of 10 supports that are kind of useless. So I'll give her a 3 out of 5 as a main character. And then as Splash, I think you could potentially even give her a 4 out of 5 because I think she
Really,
does.
that's very generous.
Yeah, her
That's
pull.
pretty generous.
Yeah, but I think that as far as pull options go, she's pretty good. Like you think
Yeah,
Elliewood
it's
is
a 1-1 pull.
Elliewood is already considered one of the best pullers in the game, and I feel like there's a lot of decks that I would rather run Eirika over Elliewood
Elliewood, yeah.
as a puller.
Hey,
So
there might be situations you might end up using the second skill into play
yeah,
too.
it's funny because I was planning on giving this card a 1 out of 5.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, that's generous
It's
now.
fine.
Yeah, but my like in the last couple of days, my view of this card has definitely changed quite a bit. I feel a lot more positive about this card. Same, unfortunately, cannot be said for Ephraim. Actually, I suppose we should talk
We'll
about
move on to
the-
it later.
We'll talk
Yeah,
about
We're not up to Ephraim
yeah,
yet.
we'll talk about Erika's 3-2, I guess.
Yeah, the free
I don't
twos.
think-
They're actually
She's okay, actually. I think she's
They're
alright.
actually
She's
pretty
alright.
good.
As far as bridge
Yes.
promos go, she's not bad. Flip 2 to grab
Your promote
you
or
can
your
grab your
combo
promo,
yourself,
she can
grab
grab
your
the
promo.
evade, and she can grab Ephraim if you're running Ephraim.
Yeah, your
I
combo
don't think
piece.
that
Also,
you
a support Emblem
really
strong.
even want to run Ephraim and Eirika MC. Ephraim's like really shitty.
Pretty posh.
It's
Yeah.
just-
and the support might come into play too. It might be
Yeah,
useful.
exactly. The 40 support and defense is quite
Plus
nice.
40 on defense is really might be useful.
So yeah, it's pretty good. I don't think we really need to rate cards like bridge promos necessarily, but
as MCs, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even then, as a card, it's quite strong.
Yeah, it's a decent card. Then the 1 cost.
It's usable in Ephraim as a splash as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, Eirika cards are usable in Ephraim and vice versa.
I'll say 4 stars on both sides, maybe.
Alright, sure.
I would say 3-star on the Eirika tree too.
Yeah,
I
I
don't see
don't,
how
I don't
using
think I would
myself.
give her higher than 3 stars simply because like you're not running her outside of Eirika or Ephraim.
Yeah.
Like, the 5
But
star,
inside
I
Eirika,
gave her a 4-star splash because you could in theory run her in like a lot of different things.
Yeah,
But,
Alright,
cool.
that's fair enough.
but Eirika tree too, yeah, I think she's good, just because the bridge promote to 5-4 is very important for a lot of
Yeah,
MCs, especially when they promote to 4.
Especially if your MC's end game is a 5-4.
Yeah, luckily, that's why tree 2 is very important, especially the tree 2 has good skills.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's a tree.
Yeah.
Can't say the same about the 4-3s though.
Yeah, I guess we can talk about those while we're at it.
Let's do
They
the
don't-
box PR later.
They don't fucking do anything.
Yeah, okay, I
Okay.
get it. Some
Can we leave it at that?
Yeah. Eirika, you can run her of Olwen and give Olwen plus
Larse
1.
also technically can use it. Larse.
Well, that's true.
I'm not I'm not gratifying that statement with a
So it's
response.
very niche.
Yeah, it's niche, but I don't
is
think
so
it's completely
bad.
unplayable.
Oh my god. I think Eirika's 4-3 is basically unplayable. I mean, like, you can do worse, but as far as, like, shitty memes go, but at the end of the day, she's still a shitty meme. I'd, like, sooner run ST Sigurd. To be
I mean,
honest.
yeah, lah, but like,
One out of 5.
Yeah.
I think she deserves it too, just because of fringe stuff like Owen and Arce. They can combo with her.
Yeah, 1 or 2, for sure.
I guess 2
Alright, let's-
works because you can't combo. The Olwen combo is actually fairly strong, but it's just like, why the hell would you ever use this card when better options exist? I guess that
Why
should
would
be
you do this to yourself?
That should be our main difference between 1 and 2. 2 is cards that you would never play because you have better options. 1 are cards you'd never play just because
Just
they're
literally bad.
straight up bad, yeah. So we'll give Eirika 2 for the 4th.
Okay, let's go to Eirika 1.
Yeah. So
This card's actually good. I think it's actually good.
I don't like this card very much.
I don't know if it's because of SG or what, but like, I've seen a fair bit of success with some of the out players here that just use Eirika as a support emblem to draw cards and give advantage. So if you have enough targets for Eirika, most of the time you are just, oh, I support, okay, I draw a card for free. No cost, nothing.
I don't know. I feel
I think it's very useful in a lot of decks.
It's on-
Might
Yeah,
come
exactly.
into- might come into play often. You have the space, you may as well run it.
that's the
It's a
thing.
nice body, it's a 1 cost.
If you have the space, you might as well run it. My thing is I feel like it's very inconsistent because you're
Yeah,
running
it's
this card that doesn't actually do anything if it's in your hand. It only does anything if you're supporting it. So not only do you have to support it, but you also have to hit the opponent you're attacking with. So
But you have to remember, there is cards like Nino that is why you run in, why you run in purple, you can bring up Nino if you want.
yeah, you can,
and
but if
if
you're
it's
gonna
in hand,
do
you can just
that,
pick it.
if you're gonna do that, why not just stack like a Lute instead or something? Or just stack
That's
it.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair, but I mean, it's just quite a nice little body there.
I guess
thing's
it's,
completely
I guess
not.
it's nice if it activates. I just feel like it's so inconsistent that it's not really worth dedicating deck space to.
Oh, that's fair enough. But
Yeah.
I'd still say it's a 3 or 4.
I'll give it a 3. A splash, obviously.
Alright, so I think we're good on Eirika. Anyone else have anything?
Nah, that's about it. Oh, okay, wait, we have to talk about Instance Emblem. She gets plus 20 to Ephraim.
Just talk about how it works with a frame.
Plus 20 when defending an Ephraim.
I mean, it's good. It's on attack and defense. It's attack, defense, emblem.
Yeah. Oh, it's attack and defense. Nice. Yeah.
I mean, you run 4 copies in Ephraim, no problem, not. But I mean, Ephraim's back. So.
You can get away with that, so it's fine.
Why don't we talk about Ephraim now? So, after
Why do you
Eirika,
make me so sad?
we have Ephraim.
Everybody wanted you to be good.
And Ephraim is really bad. I just realized you guys can't see the artwork very well in Lackey. I'll pull up
I mean, I have it up.
the big picture right here. This is Ephraim. This is signed SR artwork. I love their artwork. It's fucking amazing.
The sign
like
covers
these
their
cards.
art.
The four Modus in the background. Oh,
The
man.
sign covers their art. The SR is better than Blast.
It makes me so
Fight me.
much more sad how underwhelming these guys are, especially Ephraim. So,
Yeah, let's move on to actually talking about the card relevant.
yeah, Ephraim doesn't do anything. Like, he actually doesn't do anything.
My comparison for Ephraim would be something like Hector. Hector does the same niche as Ephraim, which is, I gain power and I become very, very
It's like basically the main...
But has more effects and comes up faster.
So I guess we can start this discussion off just by asking ourselves what Ephraim even offers you over any other MC.
Double
the answer
break?
to that is, so flip 1 for double break. So
Flip 1 to double break.
On a card that you were playing on turn 4, so lol. And so Ventress's second skill, which is the only reason you'd ever feasibly play him.
But even then, it's so
this
underwhelming.
unit gains 10 attack for every other purple unit in the same row as this unit. So you're running this unit. You're running Ephraim literally just so you can get a high base. That's the only noteworthy skill he has at all. So that's the only reason you're using him for.
I mean, twin skill is also quite important. Yes.
The twin skill, the twin skill is important too. That is true, but
outside of MC purpose, it literally is not even that. So assuming
there's no chance to run Ephraim as a splash. Unless you
Exactly.
really want to double break them on turn 5.
never run Ephraim as splash. Like, why the hell would you ever run Ephraim as splash?
That's the thing, right? Like, I feel they are throwing so many resources into his second skill. But then once you actually get the second skill off with something that is reasonable, like base 100, something like that,
Base
they
90
clear your
to
field, and you gain no card advantage because the 5-4 doesn't gain anything. And then you die.
So my big thing... Well, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so my big thing is when you're playing Ideal Cipher, you're aiming to clear your opponent's field before you go for your MC generally. You want to clear their field before you attack their MC, and that way you limit...
It's always a safer play.
Yeah, it's a lot safer,
Exactly.
and it limits how much they can do back to you on the following turn. That's just like a general staple of standard mid-range Cipher play. The only time you ever deviate from this and you ever go for main character, even if the opponent has a bunch of cards on their field, is if they are exerting a sufficient amount of pressure on you to the point where you feel threatened that, maybe if I make the safe play, I'll still lose next turn anyways, so I just have to...
you have enough, you should just kill them outright.
So I may as well go kill them, or else I'm dead anyway.
Exactly. It's an all or nothing type thing. And in order for a deck to actually put you in that position, generally the deck is required to be an early game focused deck that exerts a lot of pressure on you early on. What is Ephraim? He is a card, he's a 5/4. He comes out on turn 4, and he has no means of exerting any sort of pressure on you whatsoever. So...
Double break!
I just So why would you ever, like, what's even the point? Like, oh wow, he gets a high base, except not really, because you're just clearing his field anyways, so...
Exactly. And okay, sorry to this stuff, but like... The way I see it is like, you're just throwing too many resources into this, and the 5/4 doesn't inherently throw you cards. Like, if the second skill was something like... the third skill was something like, if you control 2 other units, flip one reveal top deck, you draw a card, that would be fine.
Or
the card would be better.
Or something cool that you could do is be like Drog, redirect attacks to Ephraim. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would work as well.
Yeah.
That would be great.
That would be
It would actually synergize with the skill.
Exactly. Wouldn't it be great? Yeah, like... And then there's the fact that, like, you can argue, you can keep Eirika on the field, you can't remove her,
but, like,
and Ephraim
Eirika
becomes
dies.
80. Yeah, exactly. So, wow, we have base 80 Ephraim, we're just gonna attack Eirika anyways, and it's gonna be the exact same thing as attacking Ephraim, since if you want to keep her alive, you're just gonna take
there's
orbs.
ways of
Take orbs instead,
Yeah, and you can even banish the Eirika if you don't like her, just because you can just throw in the bonds, destroy her, or whatever.
Yeah.
Once they have no allies.
Yeah,
and then you just come back to the same problem, I don't have any hand to summon stuff.
Although
Yeah,
I do believe how Twin Skill works is that even if you're destroyed by a skill, you can still use Twin Skill to protect them and just take an orb instead of destroying them.
It doesn't work for Arvis fight. It doesn't work for Arvis and cards that send you to monsters.
Yeah, but those cards aren't particularly common. Most of, like,
never really needs.
as far as, like, really,
Yeah,
like, the destruction effects you generally see these days, it's like Femui, May, Overclass, Celica, and possibly, like, Olin, depending on the deck. Like Micaiah, I think we'll be able to use Olin more efficiently come this set. We'll talk more. Well, I'll get into that more once we talk about Myrrh,
really?
But yeah, we'll get there when we get there.
But as far as good retire skills go, none of them really send things to pawns. But
Yeah.
the thing is, though, your opponent, you can get your opponent to 0, whereas if then just use a retire skill. That's what, like, I've played against.
That's usually how it goes.
I played against Africa a few times, and that's just what I did every game. I just dropped Overclass Celica, and I Ragnaroked the Eirika when they were at 0 orbs, and they can't do anything
Yep,
because they're at
the
0
thing is that-
orbs.
So it's just basically
And I
couldn't do
think
anything.
that Eirika is even more vulnerable than Ephraim. They clear your field and they just start bullying Eirika, which is 70 base, unlike your 80 base MC. And then your 80 base MC just sits there.
So yeah, I think all in all, we talked a lot about Ephraim. He's like really bad.
Why are
like,
you so
Maybe
bad?
we
I
talked-
actually like
we
you!
talked-
Like
We talked a
Eirika
little too much
has
about Ephraim.
potential by herself as like the gimmick build of Kyle and Ford, and she works well as Splash too. But as far as the
Exactly.
combination of Ephraim and Eirika is concerned, I think we can both
It's
agree.
fairly weak.
We can all agree that yeah, it's really bad. They just don't
Very,
do
very
much of anything.
weird.
They're really slow. Ah.
But let's move on to the next card that
1 out
actually
of 5
maybe gonna...
stars.
1 out of 5.
1
I
out
would
of
say
5.
2. I would say 2.
1 out of 5 for both.
I don't know. I'm being very generous here, but I think 2.
I would never run Ephraim.
Just because of the next card is going to come up.
Yeah, that's true. Ephraim does
No,
have
fair enough.
the 3-2, which is the same.
3-2 is
basically.
very good.
It's basically
Like,
the
this
same
card is
as
crazily
Eirika's
good.
Yeah, basically the same as Eirika 3-2.
It's basically saving grace.
Yeah.
Ephraim's
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think that the SR is 2 out of 5, is because this 3-2 bridge is very, very strong for him. It techs for your 5-4. It draws you for your whatever Eirika's you need or whatever.
grabs your
And it can be
promotion.
base 70. It's fake base 70, which can also plus 20 on support and
If your whole deck is purple, you can basically be permanent
Yeah.
70.
Exactly, it's Archer Emblem and shit. That's why I think this card's okay.
I
It's like a
guess,
fin.
I guess that's fair.
You might run into some situations where you pay for his attack emblem, but kind of hard.
Yeah, it's pretty much a worse Archer Emblem. So, meh.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's kind of eh. It's
all-
fine. It's a
alright.
fan.
Yeah, I mean, we said good things about Eirika's support emblem. I
Yeah.
think it's Ephraim's
But,
is
by the
basically
way,
two
we have to
sides of the
remember
same
that
coin.
Unlike Eirika's one, which relies on having a unit on field, this one is just support, so it's even better.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is better than Erika's 3-2, but, you know, Ephraim overall isn't that good.
yeah, it's just a shame.
Okay, shall we
He didn't win.
shall we
this
move
I'll-
on
fight.
to the...
I'll rate,
didn't win
I'll
this
rate the
fight.
frames 3 cost like a 3-star or 4-star.
I still
That's
put it as a 2.
Yeah, I
just
still
cause,
put
like...
it too, just because Ephraim doesn't do anything.
No, I'll rate the
Yeah.
card itself good because in the future we might get a good Ephraim, you know.
I don't know, maybe future-proofing is okay, but right now it is really very... Like,
I mean, as of now, then alright, it's a 2-star. I'll say it's a 2-star then.
Yeah.
let's talk about 4-3 Ephraim.
Yeah, quick shout out to 4-3 Ephraim. He's a 90 beater.
Quick share.
That's it. Alright, next.
Yeah, that's it. It's a 90 meter. I like that.
And
Why is he outbox tier?
Oh my god.
1 out of 5. Fucking disgrace.
0
I
out
mean,
of
the
5.
one cost, one cost a frame?
Would run
One
off.
cost Ephraim's...
At
One cost Ephraim is alright, actually, I think. Just because of the incest emblem, otherwise it's pretty much tosh.
Hero
You'd rather
Oh,
run
it's
one.
just double break otherwise.
This thing's even worse with Eirika. I don't.
Yeah, because Eirika at least has some kind of draw.
I don't.
mechanic.
I wouldn't run either. I don't like them. All right.
You rather run Roy 1, and if you're outclassed by Roy 1 from 05,
Hey,
you might get pretty
Hey, Roy one's a good card. I don't know what you're talking
Roy
about.
Yeah, I
one's
mean,
nice.
like, Roy
That
1
card's
is
a good
better than
card.
Ephraim.
Okay, like Roy one's a pretty good card, dude. I don't think that saying, "Oh, this card's
No, again,
gets outclassed by Roy."
You know which Roy I'm talking about, right?
But, yeah, but oh, you're referring to the set
05.
5 one? Oh my god.
Oh, don't.
Oh my god. Yeah, never mind. I thought you were referring to the good set 9 one that has.
please,
shit.
I actually like the 07 one. It lets me do this shit.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It is pretty sad, yes.
Go away, Ephraim, you may be sad.
Alright,
Can we move on to Seth now?
sure.
Seth is another reason why I think Eirika is better than Ephraim, just because, well, this gives you some more stability in the deck.
Yeah.
Well, at least you
Makes
can't,
be base 80,
can't be
whatever.
destroyed, but I guess, you know.
I don't.
Yeah, it's very sticky as well.
I don't know. I don't think Seth is that good. He's a 3-2-70-10 support.
He's
Like,
a 3-2.
just run.
At least he's got 70
Like,
attack,
if
he's
you wanna,
okay.
Yeah,
if you want a
wanna-
3-2-70, just run Marcus. At least he's not a 10 support. I don't think anything.
Oh
Seth,
no, I feel
I don't think anything Seth offers is worth running
Worth
over,
playing over the
Marcus.
Marcus.
I think it's relevant the fact that he can give Eirika plus 10 until the end of opponent's turn. I think that's quite relevant. then he's also quite sticky on board, being unable to be killed.
But Eirika can't be destroyed if you have 2 units, though.
Yeah, I know, but like...
I think he
Then
means
the attack boost...
I think he means...
The attack boost isn't exactly relevant at the time that you don't like.
My thinking though is if you're really struggling to survive the early game, just play Guinevere in turn 3. I think that's a much better use of your time than Seth. I don't like Seth.
No, I think it's alright, but I can understand what
either. I wouldn't run him.
He's a 10 support, and he doesn't do much of anything. I don't really like him. By the way, that is going to be a recurring theme throughout this video. He's a 10 support, and he doesn't do much of anything. I hope you like hearing that because we are going to be saying that a lot.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of 10 supports in this video.
Yeah. Can we talk about the fact that he didn't even get a hin? Like, are you kidding me? We thought he was gonna get an SR. He didn't even get a hin.
Yeah, we thought he was gonna get a rare at least. He didn't even get that.
Yeah.
Hola.
Alright guys, we made a quick cut. We're back now. Let's get right back into this.
Well, Vanessa.
Rescue Flyer! Rescue Flyer hype! 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5.
We're on the wrong Vanessa.
Whatever. Fuck the 3-2. Rescue Flyer hype! Rescue Flyer hype! Yes! Okay.
Just like 5 out of 5 on the 1 cost.
Yes.
Can we go to the free cost now?
5 out of 5 on the 1 cost. 3 cost.
3 cost is mediocre.
I haven't actually looked at it until now.
It's a top deck account from your hand.
I'm looking at it right now. I haven't.
Top deck account from your hand to move as many purple allies as you want.
I'll say this much: it's very budget.
Yeah, budget. That's the best way to say it.
Very budget friendly.
Top deck to mega wave
move as
delivery.
many.
Yeah, that's terrible. 1 out of 5.
Whatever. You know what?
You have to remember.
It's a flyer.
It's
a flyer.
Yeah.
2 out of 5. So yeah, you can't.
I'll say 2 out of 5. It's got a javelin.
Yeah, you can't give flyers 1 out of 5. You gotta give flyers 2 out of 5 at the very least because of that juicy 30 support.
Can we just go to Ross?
Yeah, let's move on because fun fact.
Exaggerate the 30 support.
Fun fact: we spent 23 minutes on Eirika, Ephraim, and Seth alone, so we should probably pick up the pace a little bit. Ross.
No, we should spend as much time as you can on Ross. Ross is amazing. What are you talking about?
Even the Moo doesn't like Ross.
What? Why?
Dude,
Why?
Ross is like Edward. Are you kidding me?
He's Edward, except he requires an extra card. He doesn't have any extra.
But it's Ross.
Like Edward, he only has 2 cards, so he can only run a maximum of 8 copies. He requires an extra stack than Edward. And he's in a color that can't even fucking stack easily. Like, at the very least, Edward's in green, so you can run, like, the Seer. You can't run the Seer here. You have to run a Lincia and Sonicy if you want to stack. You can also run Garcia, I think, but...
Yeah, Garcia is another thing.
Now, you know the big difference? Ross has a hand axe.
Exactly,
that
Ross
is
is 1
true.
to range.
That is actually fair, but... it's still terrible.
Gosh,
if all your MC is doing is chucking a hand axe and being 80 attack,
Yeah.
it's not really doing anything.
Like, when we get into Amelia, she's like basically the same thing as Ross, except she has a legitimate 1-for-1 option and she can't be crit. So 2 attributes that are like really strong compared to Ross. And spoiler alert, I don't think I'm gonna give her higher than 3 out of 5. So if that alone doesn't speak to how mediocre and shitty Ross is.
Okay, but his cost 1 can tutor into more cost 1.
We've spent enough time on this card.
Gosh.
1 out of 5 for us, let's go.
Garcia! Instant 5 out of 5. Best unit in Sacred Stones.
You know, the Google translation for Garcia, it says resurrected Australian arm.
Reborn, because its first skill is Reborn Axar.
Immortal Australian arm. Let's go.
But no, let's be real. The Garcia is probably only playable in Ross, and looking at how these two have talked about.
Is Ross playable?
Yeah, that's probably.
Is it possible to be playable in something that is not playable?
Listen, you've got by the time you play down Garcia, they should have promoted by now, which means you have to flip 1 to hit them, and if you don't hit them, you didn't do anything.
And if they evade, you waste a bot.
You wasted a bond.
10 support that flips a bond to deal damage. That's it. Remember how we said earlier about how 10 support and doesn't do anything is going to be a common theme in this video?
Let's move to Naomi.
Yeah. 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5, let's move.
Okay, Naomi. Naomi, I actually think she's pretty meh. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, the fact she's
so her skill is when you deploy another purple ally, she gets +10, right?
So
then Wingbane, yes.
We're talking about a lot of cards. You're just saying, oh, they're a beater, they're bad. The thing about Cipher is that Cipher is a very advantage-based game, and all a card has to offer to you is just getting high amounts of being high attack. That card isn't worth running most of the time, especially if that card is also a 10 support, because you want to like cut down on 10 supports as much as possible, unless you're Attack Emblem, that's the exception.
Something that really heavily
or if your main character is 10 support.
If your main character is 10 support, then you run a bunch of 10 supports for your main character. Attack Emblem you run, even if it's a 10 support, but those are like the only exceptions, unless the card's really good, like say
Fin 3-2.
Like Fred, or Fin 3-2, yeah, something like that.
Oh yes, Fred is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's be honest though, Naomi does have an interesting support emblem.
After the battle, you can add this card to your hand. See,
for
that'd be good if Naomi
was good.
If Naomi did something for you, she'd be
and the problem is that Naomi 3-2 as a card doesn't think, but her support emblem is quite strong.
I will say that she's probably a pretty strong card in draft, but who plays Cipher?
Oh, draft is amazing. Draft is amazing.
So, yeah.
Cipher draft 2017. It's not bad.
I don't know.
I mean like, draft she's actually one of your better cards.
As far as Lackey is concerned, you can't even draft. You just open packs and just use what's in the packs. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know, Ines is better than Naomi, and Ines is...
I give Ines a 2 out of 5 at most, so whatever.
Come on, let's not go ahead of ourselves.
We've spent enough time on Naomi. Let's look at, is the 1 cost special at all?
It's cover emblem.
Wishful Tears.
It's got cover emblem.
Oh wow, she's
rescue flyer.
Yeah, she's a rescue flyer.
She's
purple exclusive though, so it's not that good. Alright, Colm.
Why is she cover emblem?
Let's see what Colm does. I actually don't
know.
Matthew.
When you deploy this unit, reveal the top card of your opponent's deck. You can use to discard it. Tap to reveal the top card of your opponent's deck. If it is a cost 3 or higher, you can draw a card.
Okay.
So it's standard for each skill.
It's standard for each skill. 10 support, it doesn't do anything.
It's a worse Matthew, most of the time.
I think you're confusing him with Julian. Matthew is just espionage emblem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a monster Julian.
Yeah.
No, Matthew has the first skill. It's like when you deploy it, you can...
Yeah, the field can reveal top and they can retreat.
So, like, I guess you could use him in Thieves Guild, but...
even in Thieves Guild is already a lot of...
Yeah, you have other things you want to be running, plus 10 support, etc, etc, etc.
And your deck is already sort of like, I can die very fast.
Yeah. He's not worth running, and he's not worth spending time on in this video. We got our next SR. Lute.
Okay, look at the 79.
Lute.
Look at the 7,980 and SR plus.
Yeah, this card.
Christ, why is she so expensive?
Get the SR plus artwork. Yeah, this card is the money card. This set. She is the next money mage, and honestly, I don't know if she deserves it.
To be fair, she's the same book. I'll be fair. She's better than Lianna.
Oh, definitely better.
Yeah, really that hard. Normal Lianna's only 1k yen anyways, so it's like whatever.
But SR plus Lianna's like 8k yen, man.
Yeah, it's still the most expensive.
Yeah, but the normal one isn't expensive at all. Like, if you can just buy the normal one for
let's stop talking about Luna and focus on Lute.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, have to bring up the fact that she is one of the only forms of hand cycle that is like massive. Cipher. You have to remember, she can just throw the wall and draw a bunch of cards.
It's also free.
Yeah. Yeah, it's no cost. And she gains attack for the
she gains attack for free as well.
So...
Oh yeah, good stat lines too.
She also has a support skill that lets you draw a card if you flip a bond.
Yeah, I think that she's solid. The problem is that she doesn't really do too much other than just cycle through your hand. She doesn't contribute to your deck's general strategy. She doesn't give you a net advantage gain. She doesn't remove your opponent's board or help you gain any more advantage than you would normally have about playing her. At the end of the day, she's basically a consistency booster who doubles as a beater, so I don't think she's that bad, but at the end of the day, a lot of the time, she's a card that you just run because you don't have anything better to run.
I do have something to say though.
Yeah.
She has a bit of a cost, like a crossover cost with Nino, another purple card. She's the same cost slot, meaning they're both 4/3s.
Exactly.
They have the same stats, and why would you deploy Lute?
Yeah, exactly.
When you can deploy,
it's not just Nino too. There's a lot of money mages that are that are in the 4/3 stat.
Let's just look at purple for now, though. But yeah.
But you have to realize that a lot of decks that are running purple are also going to be splashing other colors of money mages.
Yeah, like red with
Red, yellow with Deirdre and Julia. I feel like all of those deploys do more than Lute does. Because they actually contribute, like, when you play them, they contribute a concrete thing.
Like
helps
value,
you. Yeah, exactly. And Lute doesn't really do that. Yeah, exactly.
I do have to admit that if combo kind of decks ever come out in Cipher, Lute is almost instantly going to be playable. Just because being able to search for your combo pieces, if the combo is strong enough, could be very important.
Yeah.
And Lute being able to throw cards and find your combo pieces is very nice.
Her skill might synergize with a future MC, but for now, I'll be generous and say 3 because she's still playable.
I think 3 is fair.
Say 4.
I'm going with 3.
I'm gonna say 3 because she's still playable, and you know,
she's playable.
Right?
It's just that it's like not very many decks would really want to run her. I feel like.
Like the only deck right now is Royal OTK. Royal OTK is like.
I will say shout out to Aku, one of the better players on our Discord. Swears by Lute. He thinks she's completely broken. So.
I'll do a 4-star though.
For all we know, she could be completely busted and we could just be idiots. That's one thing I should probably have mentioned at the beginning of the video. This is being made like 2 days after the set reveal, so at the end of the day, well, we do stand by these opinions. A lot of this is theory crafting.
Just our initial opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like a few days testing max. We only tested these guys for a couple of days.
Exactly.
Oh. Speaking of Lute, let's go to Lute 1. Lute 1 is literally Myrrh.
Oh, it's just Myrrh purple.
Yeah, it's a purple Myrrh.
What is she?
And Myrrh's okay. It's tap, discard a card, draw a card.
I guess, but I
guess
don't
it's
know.
fine.
If you're running,
it's just deck space. You got better deck space.
If you already have extra deck space after running Lute 4, then I guess she's all right. Yeah,
okay, let's just say that it gives you enough 4/3 deck give more options. So you don't need to run
this card isn't worth spending any time on. Natasha.
I'm just trying to be optimistic. I dream to be optimistic. I think she's a 2.
I'll say 2, whatever.
She's alright if you're running her in Lute 4. I don't think there's much point to rating 1 cost, because her viability hinges entirely, most of the time, based on how good the 4 cost. Yeah,
that's true.
Most of the time, it's just going to be based on whether you want to run.
Let's move on to Natasha then.
Yeah, so Natasha's an interesting card. I think that she has merit in a few decks. She has obvious merit in an Owl.
Owl.
You can grab...
It gives Owl 1 dance.
Yeah. You stack a Fate Emblem, and then you grab a copy of Owl from your retreat and put it into
2 things that you want from 1 card.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
And Owl doesn't flip bombs, by the way, so flipping 2 in Owl is not too much of a big deal.
Although... Al will also be running Larachel, so that could change.
Larachel,
yeah. So I think Al's big. Void is also pretty big. Void definitely appreciates this card.
Yeah.
I guess you can run this in Hector too, but you know, you still got better healers in Hector.
I don't think it's worth running in Hector, but it's good in Void because you can stack your Fear.
Oh, you stack Fear, yeah.
Yeah. And one other deck that I think that she has merit in is actually is Micaiah, because you could use Natasha.
You can stack her hits.
Yeah.
Oh, you stack Rebecca or anyone.
It's not even that. Yeah. You can stack Rebecca, but what you can also do is stack a card, any card you want,
then draw it.
Yes, exactly. Stack a card, then shine it to draw it, and it acts as a pseudo heal basically.
My biggest issue is. Okay, go ahead.
So that's flip 3 to draw 1 card, which is the card you heal.
Yeah. And then you also get a copy of your...
And you get a copy of Micaiah. Yeah, that sounds good.
Uh-huh.
My issue with it is that, like, one is the overlap with MC cost. It's a 3-2. Most MC promotes on turn 3. So you have an overlap cost, which is quite problematic for this card.
Uh-huh.
Unless you're a 3-2 MC. Secondly, like, she's just very weak on the boy. Like, 3-2-50.
I mean, at the end of the day, she's a very niche card. She's only
Yeah,
gonna work
niche.
those decks
I don't think she's
that
great.
make use of top decks. I mean, she's fine in the
Yeah.
decks she works in, and
Just
just
finds in the deck
Yeah,
you
Basic.
just shouldn't run her in the decks that she isn't worth using. And she's 3 out of 5 stars.
Yeah,
She's a fair card.
She's fair, yeah, 3 out of 5 is
I
good.
guess 3-5. Do we have to mention the giant Monster Slayer or no?
What?
Monster Slayer.
No.
Doesn't give us
No,
Who fucking cares?
when there's a relevant monster, it'll be fine, but for now, no.
Gorgon.
You can already hit Gorgons anyways. Alright. Natasha
let's
costs
move on to-
1, literally just a generic 30. Tap and flip to the heal.
She should have given +10 to Joshua.
I remember when Flamey used to be part of the Discord, he always used to shit on tap and flip to the
Tap
heal.
and flip to the
Yeah, and
heals.
I never really understood that because, yeah, they're inefficient, but they're still good if you need the heal.
Yeah, they're fine. It's
Yeah.
just pretty.
They're
There's
fine.
better options,
You
though.
could do better, but they're still fine. And
You can always do better,
so, yeah, I don't know if I'd run this one, though. Most of the time,
Yeah.
if you're running a cost 1 flip 2D heal, you're running either, like, Elise cost 1s, or Sakura cost 1s.
Something like Evelyn if you have Alzheimer's, you're like.
Or maybe Genny cost 1 with the new Genny that was released with Seth. We'll get to that.
Jenny
later.
cost
Oh,
one.
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but let's move on to the next card.
Sure.
The other
Joshua.
very interesting card. And here we collectively sign despair. I
Yeah.
actually like him. He's very cool.
Uh,
Okay, let's start from the base without actually looking at seconds. 4-3, 70-10. On kill, flip 1 to salvage MC. That is amazing.
That is already good in itself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's alright. Yeah, it's alright.
Like, most vanilla
But-
MCs can generate advantage like this. Like, he
But when
literally
you-
just generates advantage on kill.
Yeah, that's fair.
And this when you combo with the second skill,
Let's have
Fair
us a
balance.
little wager.
Okay, I want Sivan to explain this, because
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, how this skill works is you're a Joshua player. You choose a card from your hand, put it on top of your deck. You tell your opponent, wager. Your opponent guesses whether the card you put on top of your deck is Joshua or not. You reveal the card. If they guess incorrectly, destroy their MC.
yeah, you take damage.
So
very chance MC.
Mind
It's
you-
something
Also-
you don't rely sometimes.
also worth noting that this skill can proc Joshua's first skill, so he doesn't even need to hit in order to use his first skill. He can just proc it off the wager. Either way, though, I think Joshua is just a ridiculous card. Yes, there
That's
will be
disgusting.
games when his skill doesn't go off, and during those games he's not going to win. But at the same time, then there's going to be games where his skill goes off
But it
every
still
time.
does absolutely does.
And in those games, he's going to win. There's no discussion about it. He's just going to
the
win.
thing is that
And I fucking
if-
hate it. It completely removes all it's just such an uninteractive card. It's, oh, if the skill goes off, I win. If the skill doesn't go off, I don't win. It's
taking this from a outside perspective, 6 procs you are dead. Like literally you are just dead without all killing.
not even that.
Regardless of
though.
what's in your head.
Generally, it only takes like 3 procs. At
Yeah, that's what I'm
most.
saying. That's what I'm
Even
gonna go
2
to.
procs generally is enough to do it at a lot of the time, especially
You would have hit them.
if
You would have hit them a
Exactly.
lot.
even if you,
Like,
especially if
6
you're
procs
like,
is assuming you never hit them.
yeah.
If you hit them every single time you hit them, there's 1 less proc you need to get. And
the-
with less procs, the higher chance you win.
Yeah. And people are like, oh, but there's already unavoidables in the game, like Navarre
The thing is that
and
this is an
Saber.
unavoidable that doesn't interact with your opponent.
Yeah, it doesn't interact with your opponent. It's a lot cheaper than the average unavoidable. And there's nothing they can do to dodge it if it goes off. At the very
Not only that, right?
Because with normal unavoidables, there's still things you can do. You can hide in the back row. You can run
You
anti-pull
can-
if you're worried about pull. You can run
You can
Flora
maintain a
to
few
redirect
orbs.
the attack. And Flora has become increasingly common in top-tier decks, especially feminine.
Chrom is very good.
Yeah, she's
Pretty
a very
nice.
good card, and a lot of decks will run her, so that definitely diminishes the power of unavoidables. The only really way to deal, and even the traditional method of dealing with unavoidables, just stay at 1 orb. Just stay at 1 orb, and they won't go for the unavoidable, because they have nothing to
Yeah,
gain
but
from it.
then
But
Joshua
that
has
doesn't work with
Classified.
Joshua, because Joshua's skill is so cheap that he's just going to use it every turn. It's not like, oh, if I'm at 1 orb, I'm safe, because he'll only go for the skill if I'm at 0 orbs. No, he'll be using his skill every turn. So he'll promote on turn 3, and if you have, like, 3 orbs, he'll get you down to 2 orbs. he'll
maybe hit you.
Yeah, maybe
Get
he
you
gets down to 1, and then you're like, oh shit, I better start dodging. And at that point, it's just a few more procs away from death.
It's a bit late, isn't it?
Yeah, and
exactly.
This is on turn 3, mind you, so he can potentially end the game on turn 5, which is around the time period that most decks in the game are, like, reaching
up.
Yeah, they're like they're reaching their peak, pretty much. And he's already ending the game at that point.
You also have to remember that Joshua's wager skill, the gamble, has a lot of variables to it. It's not just, oh, you're always going to get no top deck. That you're not going to top deck Joshua. Because there's cards like Roy 4-3, Marth 4-3, Ninos and shit, that can make the guessing a lot more difficult. Because you top deck a Joshua 1, Marth 4-3 attacks. If you guess it wrong, you're taking 2 damage and they return the Joshua to head.
Exactly.
That's terrible. Like, it's a lot more difficult.
It's savage.
Yeah.
Like, it's very difficult for you to guess what it is once there's more stuff on field, once more variables are.
Honestly...
Not only that, if you're in IRL, the IRL mechanic also has a play to this.
Yeah, for sure. Just the poker faces and everything. Yeah, seeing this card made me very happy I don't play in real life, because I fucking lose to it in real life every single time.
I would instantly lose to.
Yeah.
I did too. But even then, like, ignore the second skill. The first skill is already good enough for the most part. Salvaging MC, giving yourself advantage on a 70-10 body is alright.
Yeah.
It's doable, it's useful.
So...
It's alright.
Joshua, I think 5 out of 5
stars. 5-star yet?
Yeah. At the end of the day,
that's right.
I don't think that, like, you can really rate Joshua. I think the true rating for Joshua would just be, like, Joshua out of 5 stars, but...
Joshua out of 5?
Really,
yeah,
though?
it's own tier. It is own tier. He can win anyone, he can lose anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
You might whiff, you might win. It's just hard to tell. You can't really tell. You can't really rate
But you can obviously do stuff to make it easier for yourself.
Yeah. Personally, I want him banned, but the set just came out, though, so...
yeah, that's a bit too early.
Definitely gonna give it a few weeks, but...
Probably should calm down a bit.
I don't fucking like this card.
Hey, can we just ignore the Joshua's?
Yeah, so 3-2.
Okay, 3-2 is okay. It's a decent
It's a decent
Plus 10 to MC. Plus 10 versus MC can top like spots and allow your guys to
get top deck Narshan! 40 support!
Extra copies of Joshua is fine.
Yeah, and Joshua 1 is Shannon, but slightly worse.
Yeah.
Because Shannon has more variants, but like there's it's more stable.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing about Joshua is that there is one high end and one low end, and there's nothing in between. Shannon has a middle.
Yeah, right. But they're both very good cards to run in like aggro.
Yeah, they're both amazing.
60 attack, 1 cost unit, like that's really.
Yeah, especially if your whole deck is sword.
Like insanely good. Yeah.
That's pretty good, yes.
Also, the standard attack emblem is always nice.
Yeah, of course. 30 support and attack, can't go wrong.
Okay, let's talk about the meme cards next. I don't even know what this guy's name are.
Kyle and Ford. We discussed them earlier. I don't think we really need to say anything about them because we already talked about these guys in Eirika.
We can say that they gain plus 10 while Ephraim field and the other friend is on field.
Are we ever going to use these guys with Ephraim? They're 10 supports that do... Actually, I guess you could use them in Ephraim.
Technically, yeah.
It's like, Ephraim becomes a 90 base, so... But, like, why wouldn't you just use Eirika instead? Because...
Yeah, Eirika would be better with
What's
these guys.
better, 90 base or invincible?
Yeah, that can't be destroyed.
Yeah. So...
the cost ones is the basic green red cavalier, the Kane and Abel stuff.
Yeah. I'll pull up the effects.
So nothing too important.
These are 3.
Cost only when supported by the other friend.
1, yeah, green and red assault when they're supported by the other one, they gain 30. It's the same for Ford.
Yay, green and red knights, let's go.
Yeah.
Kane and Abel is the best green red knight, fight me.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Can't say any better.
Alright, let's move to Tana.
Alright.
Tana.
So Tana.
Why is this card actually expensive? I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's very, very mediocre.
This card is worse than Narshan. I never thought that would
be
possible.
I'd rather have a Narshan.
I'd be honest, I'd rather run this because it's a girl.
Fuck you.
Okay. I thought you really
if they're both going to end up in my Bond area anyway, we'll be looking at a guild and looking at Narshan, you know what I mean?
Don't you want to look at Narshan? Come on.
No.
Alright.
No.
So, Tana's effect, you can, if you're at, so, when you support it, you flip 2 bonds to deploy it. And then first you think, oh, this is alright in Rush until you realize that you need to have 2 or fewer orbs to deploy the card. Then it kind of just becomes like, why the hell would you ever even run this? I guess it's like a pseudo Eliwood 5 if you support it. Like, Eliwood 5, you flip 2 bonds to deploy a unit, but at the very least, when you're deploying a good unit with Eliwood 5, then that unit actually has fucking effects.
Has some kind of merit.
Do you want to know what Tana does? Tana is, if your MC is purple, game +10.
That's it.
Who cares?
That's it.
Like, really, who cares?
Underwhelming. You know, at the end of the day, it's a flyer, so you have to rate it.
Yeah, flyer.
2 out of 5.
So is 3 from 3. 3 is flyer.
I'll say 3 because
flyer.
It's fair.
The fact it's a flyer and it's hit base 70, it means it has some merit.
I guess.
Still usable.
Yeah, that's fair. She is a base 70 flyer, which has merit. 3 out of 5. 1 cost.
Tana costs 1.
We've seen this card
Why
twice
do you keep
before.
giving us this
We've seen this card twice before. Feet and Farina. It's not a good effect, and now thanks to the existence of Vanessa, we literally have no reason to run this card. Next.
Yep.
2 out of 5 flyer.
2 out of 5 flyer. Amelia.
Amelia. Okay, I feel like we should talk about the cost 1 cost 2.
So,
cost 1 I think
Amelia's
the cost 1 is actually stupid.
Her cost 1 is fucking nuts. It's really good.
It's a tutor. It tutors cost 2 Amelia for a deck. What the fuck?
It
also,
also...
cost 2 Amelia has a class change cost, by the way, so you draw a card from me.
And also, not only that, cost 2 Amelia is actually good. 60 based on defense. Like, there's nothing to say about it, and also cost 1s can crit. Like, this is just shuts down a lot of aggro decks.
Personally, I really like cost 1 Amelia because you can just sit on her for 2 turns and flip 2 to get 2 evades. That's like
2
really
evades
good.
Or 2 tutors.
Yeah.
Like, there's 2 tutors.
But it's versatile too because you also have the option of going into the cost 2 if you're in a matchup that has a lot of rush. Really
like,
good.
This
Amelia's cost 1 and cost 2
was
are
better.
nuts.
If the 4-3 was better, I could say she's one of the best MCs, like, but the problem is the 4-3.
So let's
The
talk.
4-3 is somewhat
Let's
mediocre.
talk about.
She might get a good.
I think
She might get a good card in the future, but for now,
so.
Yeah.
she's basically a way just to get 80 attacks. She can't be crit by anything but other than
Okay,
the
how
main
about I
I
character.
think she has some merit because she does have a 1-for-1 option if she hits. And being an 80...
I think we should explain the skills first.
Yeah, sure.
4-3 70-10. When this unit kills, you can flip 1 to level her up with an Amelia from retreat. Once you are level 3, this unit cannot be crit. And level 5 is +10, just as basic I +10 on stuff.
So
Still can be crit by main character, but
my idea
Oh yeah, I can pick her up.
for Amelia is you run green, you just run Alincia and Sonic E1 and you just growth the shit out of her until she gets to 5.
What about Jill? Jill's just a flyer.
Yeah, I run Jill.
You want-
Yeah, I just run Jill too because she can growth Amelia as well.
And the furry summons.
Yeah, summon a scream.
especially the fairy
Yeah, of
summons.
course, can't forget
Yeah,
that.
Nyla. Run Nyla.
Everyone else collectively sighs.
God damn it, lah.
But yeah, I think
But
so her first
Amelia's
skill
okay.
basically is a means of droving her that doubles as a 1-for-1, so you just stack another 4-3, and you get to draw a card from
the
it.
issue is you need another 4-3 retreat.
And I think when she reaches 5 stack, she's alright. Problem with the 1-for-1 option, not only is it on hit, which makes it inherently inconsistent, it's also the fact that there needs to be another 4-3 in retreat in order for her
Yeah,
to
when
use
you
it.
can count on that.
Because you don't want
Very
to,
unreliable.
you don't want to class change into a cost 2. You don't want to do that.
Or cost change is the cost 1.
You don't want to go backwards, that's for sure.
Yeah, at the very least, if you class change a cost 2, you do get the 1-for-1. And you are a 60, I guess, but like, yeah, you don't.
At that point, you're better off not doing it in the first
You
place.
don't want to do it.
Did we talk about the cost 1's emblem?
That too. It gives her yet another means of getting a ton of evades. Her cost 1's
Why is
emblem-
this? Why are these cards so good, but then the promos are crap?
I think this card is so... The cost 1 and cost 2 are so insanely good, and the cost 4-3 really is, like, decent, I feel like. I want to give her
Yeah,
more
like-
than a 3 out of 5 stars as MC, though, but I think she has...
Okay, but I feel like
3 out of 5.
I feel like the
Alright.
cost 1 and cost 2 can be 4 stars easily, but the cost 4-3 is just sort of like under there. I don't feel like it's like rage. I think it's true
It
too.
just feels underwhelming.
I mean-
for
Yeah,
all
it's
that
just
build
very
up.
underwhelming.
I'd run her over your generic, me big number MC, like Harden or Xander.
Definitely, yeah, but
Me being the bitch.
but like, I don't know. I think she's a 3-star. Then the cost 6-star.
She's fine.
Just because of how strong they are.
She's fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
She doesn't do too much, but she's pretty hard to kill. She's fine.
Why is she an SS slot? You should have been Seth.
Because it's Amelia.
Should have been Seth.
Should have been Lyon. Should have been Lyon.
Should have been Lyon.
Fuck.
Lyon as well, yeah. What the fuck? What is the SS so bad?
Alright, we spent some time on Amelia. Let's move to
We got Inez, or as Soon calls him, Eins.
Okay, let's explain the skills. He is a 3-2, 50-20 archer. You can top the card
in your hand, plus 20.
Yeah, then afterwards, if your MC is purple, non-MC cannot evade, and send it.
So,
He's okay.
being unavoidable against non-MC, I feel like would have been better if he was a 4-3. Even then, it's still not that great, because at the end of the day, being unavoidable against non-MC really isn't that useful, since if they have like an evade, then they can just play that next turn. It's only really relevant against something like, say, a Lee Splash, or if they have something like, if they're running like 1 cost for a card, and they only have the 1 cost in their hand, and they don't have the main card in their hand.
Yeah, the main promote. But even then, that's kind of iffy.
It's iffy. It's situational, really. Most of the time.
The thing is that Innes needs to discard a card to get something.
Yeah, because he's only a 50. Yeah.
I guess the outlook size?
He's a very
situational
card. Most of the time he doesn't do anything other than just
he's very budget friendly.
Me smork, me hit hard.
But yeah, it's very budget friendly.
Yeah.
He's very budget friendly, I'll say 2.
It's a discipline. I would have liked to see an Innes SR too.
But cost 1 Innes is the new Takumi.
For someone who's a supposed strategician, his effect is very basic. I'm somewhat disappointed. It's not. His cost 1 is not the new Takumi. It does not have 40 attack emblem. That is a very integral part of Takumi, dude. Like, actually.
Isn't it? But in battle, not during when it attacks. Is in battle what?
In battle, only when it's attacking.
Yeah.
It's attacking.
Like, it's not a bad card, but really the only reason you're not running Takumi's just the best of all of the plus 20
because he has
yeah, because he can hit
40 attack archer emblem.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's all about the 40 attack archer emblem. That's the #1 reason you're running Takumi. It's not for the skills. So no, Inez isn't the new Takumi.
I mean,
purple strategy emblem.
It's purple's first strategy emblem.
We haven't had one.
Purple's first strategy.
So that's cool, I guess. Alright.
Yep.
It's
still 40.
I don't even know this.
It's
Gerik. Why does he not have a cost 1? That's my question.
He has a cost 2, but he has a cost 4.
Alright.
I'm confused. I'm actually confused by him.
So, he can get to 90, except he's not
MCable,
so who fucking cares? And you have to control 2 10 supports. This guy looks like a worse Raven.
And if he kills MC game, take 1 to
you're right, it's Raven.
This guy looks like a worse Raven that's not MCable.
If he was MCable, he'd actually be alright. Slightly better.
He does have a 1-for-1 option. Destroy an enemy.
Yeah, but it's like
card.
He's not MCable. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Maybe if he was MCable, he'd still be pretty shitty, but he'd be a decent budget option, I guess. Like,
okay.
Not completely
How crazy am I? How crazy am I? Cost 2 Gerik and aggro.
What is this unit gains 10 attack?
Plus 10 for every 10 support.
Plus 10 for every 10 support.
Why not just run Athena? If you want to run a cost 2 10 support, but either way, at the end of it, it's not like a cost 1 that has attack, but it's a raw 10 support, and you really want to avoid those as much as possible in an aggro deck,
so you can consistently hit in offense.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm just trying to find good use of him. I think he's bad.
Yeah, unfortunately, he just doesn't really have much of any use.
If that was on a 1 cost Gerik though, that would have been good.
10 support, that doesn't do anything. Next card.
There, Lara.
We got Lara too.
She's weird. I don't like her.
Hey, I don't like her artwork. Actually, her plus artwork isn't that bad, but her artwork is like,
Let's focus on the card and rather not.
I like both. They're alright.
I don't know. Her face looks dumb. Her artwork, I feel.
Got that. Okay, her skill.
See her. She's a 60 base 1-2 range. It comes out on turn 2.
This is basically Maribel, except the heal is on the support skill,
which is kind of important.
Relevant? Question mark?
Which can be relevant
the only deck that you'd ever really run this in is basically
Al
Al.
and Hector.
It's basically Al. I don't even. Yeah, I guess you could run it in Hector too. You're running this in decks that just have lots of means of stacking supports, and decks that don't have very many. Don't have
too much bond spending. So already you've narrowed down the
and
pool
heavy
of,
reliance on your MC.
Yeah, you've narrowed down the pool of options in which case, which this card is good in by quite a bit. But she's like Natasha. She's decent in the decks that she works in, but it's not something that you want to use outside of a deck that she works in.
It is somewhat relevant by the fact that if there is more monster support, she is able to resend on monster kill.
That's not really that.
I guess if more monster support comes in the deck, it's
more
like,
it'd be relevant against the monsters that can't avoid.
Yeah,
stuff like Gorgons and
like Gorgons and
guys, it counters Dreamer. It counters Dreamer. Except Risen.
Risen just evades.
Yeah. What is
XT?
What is a one?
Okay, who's the next card?
Do? When an
just
ally
plus
battles a
against
monster unit, it's no different from any other cost 1 tap 2 to flip.
It's basically still another healer.
Yeah, it's just another healer. She's fine. Can't really go wrong with it.
Garcia's next, right?
No.
I'm not Garcia. I'm not Garcia. Dolza.
Give Laracho a 3 out of 5 as splash. All of these cards have been as splash, by the way, except for Amelia and Joshua, who have been as MC. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, those plus 20 on offense, and then the standard if you support Laracho cannot be killed. Okay, I guess.
He's a 10 support, he doesn't do anything.
Yeah, just kind of.
It's like you're trying to make Laracho your main character.
You're never actually fielding Laracho. You're only ever using her for the support skill.
Yeah, she doesn't do anything on field.
This card really
support
fucking
emblem is
bad.
pretty mediocre.
This card
is acting as if you want to run Laracho MC.
Rip does.
Please, that's exactly the right answer.
But Laracho doesn't do anything.
What's the next card? What's this guy's name again?
Syrene.
He can flip 2 to draw a card. If you control a stone, you gain plus 7.
Bad.
It's okay.
It's not very good. Yeah.
So I guess you could run him in Mana Keep decks, but the thing is that Mana Keep decks have way better uses. As far as bond outlets go. Wait until we get into the new Genny. Oh boy, that card. Is like way better.
Let's be real. This is ST Lolina.
What does ST Lolina even do?
Flip 2 to draw a card.
Wow, that's pretty shitty. Whatever, I guess he uses bonds.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, Rennac. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, that's how you pronounce his name. Rennac. Rennac is actually kind of cool. I think that Rennac, because, like, in theory, you can potentially... It's like a flip because you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a 3 or higher, then you can use his skill twice to draw 2 cards. That's only if you have Laracho on the field.
But you only have Laracho on the field.
I think Rennac could actually be worth justifying the use, even if he is a 10 spread. I think he could potentially be worth using.
Yeah,
because the ability to tap and flip 1 to draw 2 cards is kind of
pretty solid.
Fucking ridiculous. Of course, it's inconsistent.
It's what Tina should have been.
Oh my god, can we not talk about that card?
Sorry to bother.
It could have been with Nolan.
Okay, by the way, we are only 40 cards in and we're like in an hour.
We're scraping an hour.
Yeah, as is though.
Let's go to
Myrrh. There aren't any Larachos that you're actually gonna play in the field, he's pretty shitty. So like 1 or 2 out of 5 stars, but she'll be relevant. He could be relevant later. Alright, Myrrh.
Okay.
Dragon, yes,
finally. Dragon, salvage, base 80, no range, has like
mini now.
Those are your main ones.
Mini now.
Basically
now.
Okay.
Except it's purple.
So she has an R+. Let me pull that up real quick. Right.
Okay, so the main things about her. She can be summoned with Hinoka. That's impressive. She's base 80 on turn when you have 6 bonds. Okay, cool. She can salvage bonds. So she's Naui.
So she's literally Naui, except she has 1 less range. You could argue...
she can be summoned.
You can also argue that you can use the skill earlier to get a crit for a unit you have.
The timing is amazing for this. The timing's better than Naui's.
Yeah, but it's really not that big of a difference, because at the end of the day, there's never a situation where Naui's timing's really gonna screw you, unless your opponent is deliberately reducing your... Like, unless your opponent, like, Arvis 5s you or some shit.
Yeah.
Which is almost never gonna happen. Other than that, there's really never a time that Naui's second skill being mandatory is ever a problem, because even if, like, you don't want, like, even if you're in a position where like, oh man, I don't want to bond anything that's in my hand, at the end of the day, you can always just take back the card you bond. So there's not very
you can also just drop her down on turn 6 and not use this.
For Myrrh you can, but I don't think there's too much merit.
No, he's forced,
Yeah.
But you have to remember, Myrrh also has flying. That is quite relevant.
I was going to get to that, yes. In my opinion, the only deck that's relevant in is Ryoma. I don't think there's any other white deck that would actually make use of that.
That would run Hinoka?
That would run that would actually run Hinoka and Myrrh. I think that it's pretty cool. No. I mean Minerva, just stop there. But yeah, I think that it's pretty cool in Ryoma, because Ryoma's a deck that goes late and loves just drawing a massive front row, and Hinoka and Myrrh, like the double deploy, just makes your front row that much more massive, and you can, don't need to run any purple other than Myrrh. You don't need to run any purple besides her, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, because Myrrh is teched out.
Because you just,
also...
That being...
Also, she can recycle her resources, which is quite nice as well.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's the same reason. All the things that make Naui good make Myrrh good as well, except that she's one.
Except for the range.
Except for the range, exactly. There is one more point that I wanted to get to. And honestly, I think the huge thing about this card is just the fact that it's purple. It's a worse Naui, but it's purple. And
in a better color.
So the thing is...
That's a big difference.
If the thing is that Blue, over the years, has had 2 cards that it's generally splashed for. Those cards are Male Robin 2 and Naui. And now, Purple has worse versions of both of those cards, Guinevere and Myrrh. So, when it comes down to it, Guinevere and Myrrh are worse versions of Robin and Naui. You can't really deny this. But at the same time, they're still perfectly usable. They fulfill the same niches as Robin and Naui almost as well as they do, which means that it's very feasible in a lot of decks that ran blue just for Robin and Naui, that they can just take out blue and just run purple.
To run Guinevere and
then this opens up their options because it allows them to run a third color that isn't blue. And the deck that I think this is the deck that I think that this is most relevant in is actually Micaiah. Because Micaiah has been shoehorned into running Naui for a very long time, because Naui's just an essential card in the deck. But now, Micaiah can just run Myrrh, and she doesn't need to run blue anymore. And this is huge, because it gives Micaiah access to Olwen. You can run yellow now, and you can run Olwen. In Micaiah, Olwen will always be 70, because of Shine,
meaning
that you can play her, flip 2 to destroy 2 60s. And in my opinion, that is utterly terrifying field control that Micaiah has access to. So, but not only that, new colorless Lute, we'll get into that later, but you can combo...
Later, we are very far away.
You can combo Olwen with colorless Lute as a turn 8 play, and you're like, oh, turn 8, that's so late in the game. But against stall decks that the combo would be relevant against, that turn 8 is not that unfeasible, because stall decks won't be finishing you off by turn 8. And on turn 8, you can drop the Olwen and the Brave Lyn, fuck, I keep on calling her back, colorless Lyn, on the same turn, clear your opponent's field, and then go for an unavoidable strike. It completely screws up your stabilization if you're against Elise. It prevents them from Elise's turning next turn, potentially allowing you to mount an all-out assault.
Win the game on the next turn.
The following turn, exactly.
Yeah, you can leverage that. Leverage it very well.
Exactly. So I think that this gives Micaiah, basically, because Micaiah has always had a lot of trouble dealing with Grima and Elise, but the addition of Myrrh and Colorless Lyn allow Micaiah to handle those matchups a lot better, and in my opinion, it might just push Micaiah up to like the top tier.
So can we just say this is a 5-star card?
Absolutely, this card's amazing. 5 stars.
Sure.
Let's talk about the one cost. One cost is also quite good.
It's another Rennac emblem. It's another Rennac emblem for it.
But the thing is that
Thanks,
she gets plus 30 at 3 bonds.
At 3 bonds instead of 4, yeah.
The trade-off for this is that she's purple exclusive, because there has to be a purple unit on the field, like purple MC exclusive, I mean, because you need a purple unit on the field, otherwise she loses range. And I guess...
I mean, stuff like Alm can
in
use
theory
it,
you could run her outside of a purple MC deck, but then if they just kill the other purple unit you have.
Purple
on your
guys,
field.
you
Yeah,
all-
you don't want to be reliant on field outside of your MC. You don't want your splash.
You all give them back to
You
me.
don't want your splash. Yes. You don't want your splash to be reliant on other splash, though. This game is already inconsistent enough.
Also, we have to remember that this helps all out because more mana key uploads means you can faster get to your 6-1 whatever thing it's called, and dance faster. It's quite nice.
Yeah, Myrrh's great though. Another excellent mana keep, almost on the same level as Naui.
Why is all the lollies so good?
She's the second best mana keep, to be fair.
Damn.
Okay, now it's Syrene,
The
right?
hell
Is
does
that
she... Oh, she
Yeah.
has the defense flyer emblem. Who cares?
Okay, random thought. Flying corpses, flip 1 to plus, send her to make her levitate.
Alright, so for those of you who don't know what Flying Corpses is, Flying Corpses is possibly the best deck ever conceived in the history of Fire
Shut
Emblem Cipher. It's capable. It's the only deck that has a positive matchup against Femui.
Tosh.
I'm being sarcastic. It's fucking Levin MC with Grima Splash. It's horrid. Don't do it. Don't do it.
What are you talking
Do
about?
not do
What are you
it.
talking about? What are you talking about? You don't even play that deck.
Siren's one cost isn't very relevant either. Let's just
Move this
I guess.
untapped backline unit. Why the hell would you ever use that? 2 out of
I
5
don't know, I don't
stars.
get why-
She's a flyer. We haven't even gotten through halfway through the
Lyon.
set. We've been here for like
Lyon.
an hour. Yeah, Lyon.
Lion.
Lyon. It's Lyon.
Lion.
Lyon.
Lion.
This
Lyon.
talk about a disappointment, man. This card doesn't do anything.
I think it's okay.
This card doesn't
I
do
think it's okay.
anything. What does he do?
I think it's okay.
What does he do?
Gorgon
you deploy 70s from your deck.
He deploys a 70 for 2 bonds. He's a 61 to 2 range with 80 evades who can flip 2 to deploy a 70 from your deck. Oh, and don't even get me
Okay.
started on the fact that he
Okay.
has like 17 zero supports in the deck because God knows
Okay,
that
hear
only
me out.
running 80 evades wasn't enough to keep his guy like completely terrible.
Okay, hear me out.
Hey, to be fair, his one cost has 20 support.
Yeah, but the 4 costers
Yeah.
are 0 support, Bales are 0 support, Gorgons are 0 support, the 2 Necro Dragons
Necro
that you're
Dragons.
running are 0 support. That's a lot of
Okay, hear me
0
out.
support for a deck that isn't fucking Anankos or Grima.
Damn.
Hear me out, man.
Alright, I'll hear you out, Lux. You've been saying hear me out for like the last 10 years. We'll hear you out. What do you have to say?
4360, 0. Okay, fine. The stat line is crap. I agree. 0 support doesn't help.
80
But-
evades!
With-
80 evades!
That's
Why?
That's still more than Grimmack, so.
But
You-
Grima's
you have to
fucking
remember.
broken! There's a difference! She's also 80 base! Very
See, if you
fundamental
flip
difference!
if you flip 2, you'll have 2 units with 70 attack, including Lyon.
Wow. Thanks for sharing. Wow, I'm 70 attack
but
and then I'll
yeah.
be 60 attack again because my
Yeah,
opponent's
yeah.
just gonna kill whatever stupid ass monster I play.
To be honest, right, like, most of the time, the Lion is gonna probably not run it's probably only just gonna run 4 Gorgon, 2 Bale, 2 Necro. Just because you can search them out with your skill. But, like,
That's 12-10 supports. Or 0 supports.
I know.
That's 12-0.
I know,
That's
but, like-
12-0 supports. That's the same amount
know.
as fucking Anankos.
and Grandma. But,
Grima runs
Yeah,
less. I run 6 Resident Grima. I only run 10-0 supports in Grima.
Isn't that as much as Chrom?
No, Chrom was like 20
I feel
Resident.
like-
Chrom's like the worst deck ever.
I feel like Lion is not completely unplayable.
It's
There
still
is there is situations where Gorgon locking, mass summoning of Necro Dragons with Essence Marth. That costs 2 S, and you can bring that up. That would be nice.
Hey man, they're pretty scary.
Yeah, and being able to apply pressure, those kind of stuff. I know it's not the best, but it's not completely unplayable. And especially seeing that he's only going to get better with more monsters. Like, I think he's okay.
Who knows? Maybe we get some broken monsters. For now,
I mean, like, Gorgon's already pretty good.
No.
Like, Gorgon's already able to block on something.
2 out of 5.
Okay,
That's
you need
being
to clear it.
very generous. 2 out of 5.
I think it's 3, but then
I'll say
the,
three.
you guys
It's not right.
But he has 80 evades.
I'll say 3.
And he has 12-0 supports. 2 out of 5. That's generous, man. That's really generous.
Okay, let's look at the cost line. This is Dark Mage Emblem, lad. Let's go.
Dark Emblem, really good art.
Whatever.
He's cool.
Can I just say that
One of your
the Google translation for Bayo is man eating big spider bug.
Eating big spider bug.
Okay, I'll explain Bile. Bile, you can run more than...
It's just a necro
It's
dragon.
a fucking
with 10
necro
attack.
dragon. It's a shittier necro dragon that you run in Neon because it's
Pretty much.
yeah. Because
Okay, let's move to Gorgon.
yeah,
We don't really need to have Bile.
Gorgon.
Gorgon's interesting.
I don't think.
I
Gorgon's
think Gorgon's quite interesting.
I don't think Gorgon's good.
With Gorgon on field, you can mass lockdown. Because you have to remember this. Tap Gorgon to tap an enemy unit. So you tap the Gorgon, you tap an opponent unit. Next turn they don't restand. You tap the Gorgon again, they don't restand. The unit's permanently locked down if you have one unit on field. I think that's okay.
So
If that unit is still giving them advantage, you'd
Yeah.
rather
Yeah, I
I
know,
was
but
about
right?
to say the exact
Yeah, I'm
same
aware
thing.
that cards like Naui, sounds like Fem, we can still use the effect, but
Okay.
like,
There's no point in locking like a Nino or something
So-
because they're just still gonna get the
yeah, you
advantage.
can use the effect, I'm aware, but like, I think it's not as bad
I mean,
as you
it's
guys
very
saying it is.
It's very
What
situational.
cards would you even? So all right, so
Let's just go with this. So as far as card locking goes in Cipher, there's only one card that's ever really been used that locks cards, and that's Deirdre 4/3. Deirdre 4/3.
Are you sure not Veronica?
Oh yeah, Veronica locks too, but I personally don't like Veronica very much. I guess she's somewhat relevant, but Deirdre was a lot.
It's alright.
Deirdre was a lot more relevant. Let me explain
Yeah.
what I mean here. Deirdre 4/3. Obviously, the lock skill wasn't the main reason why you used her, but the lock skill allowed her
That's
to
what I'll do.
double as a very effective check
Anti Dragon.
check to Elise. Check to Elise, because Elise relied very heavily on Tiki 5 in order to maintain bond curve, because Elise needs to flip 2 bonds every turn in order to use Elise.
And he also occasionally ran Naui, which is another dragon.
Yeah, but now he doesn't care.
But now he doesn't get
doesn't
affected by
care.
the effect.
It's mostly Tiki.
Yeah.
When you forget, because Tiki's skill procs off of attack. So since
Attack
you
and
lock
initiation, yeah.
Tiki,
you prevent her from being able to attack. There's nothing you can do to break the lock. There's only actual.
Yeah,
There's
exactly,
there's
until
one
you can
thing.
kill
There's
her.
one thing you can do to break the lock. You play Nyx cost 1, kill the Tiki, and then play another Tiki from your hand. That's the only way.
Or you run Sarah.
Yeah, that too. But
Oh, sad.
Yellow and Elise is like so bad.
Nyx is already in your colors, but the thing is, then all of a
Can
sudden,
we just talk about the real reason why Deirdre was played for the bond and flip
Yeah.
and not the
Yeah,
locking?
no,
That's
dragon
what I
part?
said, but obviously the lock isn't the main reason why she's played, but the lock
Nah.
allowed her to double as an Elise check. But then Family was a thing. Elise ran Family instead of
Then-
Tiki,
and Deirdre's purpose as an Elise check became completely moot, because Family doesn't need to attack in order to use her skill. That's my point. That's
Use
why I
nice
think Gordon 5 points!
Gorgon is not good at all, because
I don't
what
know.
cards in Cipher
They
proc
can
her
lock,
skills
yeah.
off of attacking? What cards in Cipher proc her skills off of
tapping.
attacking? Yeah, or tapping, exactly. Most cards, there are a few. But
Tiki
the
5 is one of
vast
the examples, yeah.
majority, and Tiki 5 is not really relevant at all anymore thanks to the existence of Feminine.
Yeah, she's no longer played.
Yeah. So,
I don't know. Maybe I'm overrating.
I
I'm
think
probably
you are. I think you are. I don't think this card's good. There's, like,
I don't think
I
it's
think
right.
it's
enough.
alright.
I don't.
I think
There's
it's alright.
very little in this game that you would really want to lock. You just want to destroy everything so you can prevent them from using their skills in the next turn. Because locking doesn't prevent them from using their skills on the next turn.
I guess.
I haven't played against it though. It might not be that bad.
You have to remember, I was playing with Lyon. I was playing with Lyon a few days ago. It was quite interesting to
Yeah.
lock in everything.
First
very
impressions
annoying.
and
Might
all
be funny.
that, yada
Really
yada.
annoying.
But based on theory crafting alone, I think it's really bad. Who knows? I don't think it's good.
I think it's alright.
2
Yeah,
out of
just
5.
testing with it. I'll say it's 2. 2 is my best out.
1.
I'll say 2.
1.
Come on. Okay, let's move to this card.
So this is
Do we really
Okay,
have
Alex.
to
Yay, Cipher
It's our OC.
OCs. We're gonna spend 10 seconds on this quickly. Give your thoughts. I'm spending 10 seconds on this card.
When you support this card, you can flip to salvage or support. Done.
Alright, good.
It doesn't do anything. Let's move on. Valjean,
Margin is adorable.
he doesn't do anything either. Let's
It's
move on.
adorable. Look at him.
Yeah, oh god, he's got a cake in his hand.
Exactly. He's amazing.
Let's move on.
Wait, what? Okay, wait, no, but let's be real though. He can 1% top that card.
Yeah, he can.
Alice.
He's also a 10 support and requires shitty ass Alice to be down the field. Literally why?
No, I'm just trying to say.
Literally why?
I'm just trying to say. Valji and MC. Valji and MC.
Die.
Okay, let's go to
Alm. Let's go to Alm.
Yeah.
Oh
man. Okay.
Oh,
These
man.
cards
There's a lot of
are my
controversy
favorite.
about this
These
card.
cards are my favorite cards in the set. I love the Alm and Celica Overclasses so much. Great art, great skills. I fucking love these cards.
I think
Unfortunately,
you're overrating this one.
Unfortunately, not everyone
Calm down,
agrees with
Seth.
me.
Calm down, Seth.
Alm isn't that. But let's start with Alm because I think
Let's explain the skills. That helps. Do you want me to do it or what?
So
When you class change into Alm, you can deploy a red from your retreat.
yeah.
If you control more allies than your opponent, plus 20. Continue a slight grammar.
Yes. It's
And he's got
literally
certain
just-
scale. Flip 1 for 1 to 3 range.
Yeah.
Shenman Skull,
So-
right?
I think that Alm Overclass, it's not something you would ever run outside of Alm MC. It's fairly limited as
Pretty
far
much.
as its use goes, but in Alm MC, I think it's not a bad endgame option.
It
Because you're-
gives Alm the option to just sit in back row 1 true range that multiple left.
I disagree with that. I think that Alm
Oh?
is just going to be on the front row the entire time because Alm,
Sounds
the Alm
horrible.
deck runs a lot of field control, and most of the
Yeah, I'm
cards in the
aware,
Alm
but-
deck are in the back row, so it's very easy to get the plus 20 effect, and then you can run Faye
Yeah.
2 to make him a 100 base on the front row. So I definitely think
Yeah.
that you want to keep this guy in the front row instead of having him hide in the
And
back
when you're-
row.
And
I
when your
mean,
board's
the fact
relevant
he-
enough,
Yeah. That,
when your
Yeah.
board's relevant enough, you can class change into him and get something
yeah,
else.
but at the end of the day,
I
though,
mean-
you use him as a
finisher. You use him
Yeah,
for-
it's an also
for your
promotion.
last-
Most of the time you'll see that.
for your last push. You grab your May or your Overclass Celica or whatever card you need in your hand. So as MC, I rate him a 3 out of 5. His splash, he's unusable.
I say he's 3 as well, but that's mainly
Also
because of
great.
his range, and he's base 20,
Yeah,
plus 20 in base.
he's usable. So 3 out of 5
His
stars
overclass
is the
skills.
minimum.
His overskill. Oh wait, we should talk about the overclass clause. For the record, if you class change cards via skills like Chrom by 4, Tiki 4, the overclass
right.
skills do not proc.
yeah. So you have to class change this guy by paying 6
From
bonds.
hand.
Yeah, from hand by playing
Yeah.
6 bonds. Meaning that if you're running him as splash, which you aren't, but this will be relevant when we talk about
Celica.
yeah, when we talk about Celica.
Celica and Faye.
Yeah, and Genny. But if you're running an overclass as splash, in the case of Celica, who also requires 6 bonds in order to overclass, you need 7 bonds in order to overclass her. 1 to pay for the 1 cost that you're deploying, and 6 to pay for the 6 cost you're deploying. Of course, this isn't the case if you already have a Celica on your field at the beginning of the deploy phase, but we are in a meta where destruction is very common.
Boom boom.
Yeah.
Eh.
So
Okay, so let's move
It's
to the
very-
Alm one.
very-
Alm one
very
should
I
have been
think
well, Alm
I
one
still
should-
had just to conclude on Alm 5/6. Most of the time you just use him as an evade. You run him with
Yeah.
use ST Alm as your main MC.
Yeah, I see, I'm straight.
yeah, you run him as an evade most of the time, but in matchups where you do get a chance to use him, he's pretty useful. Being able to grab whatever unit you want from the retreat and deploy it instantly, it's not bad at all.
Speaking of Alm 1 is actually okay. The new Alm
Yeah,
1.
the new Alm.
The old Alm 1
Okay.
was bad.
His new cost one's okay.
Yeah,
It's, pretty,
basically.
it's more relevant than his old one. Let's move to Celica.
Based off of the guide and artwork.
Can I say something though? They released 3 PRs of the old cost one.
What?
They released 3 PRs of the old
Yes,
cost one.
they did. There are 4
Yeah,
versions
I
of
know.
Alm Cost 1 for the set 9.
And I'm so angry. Because now I can't get I know Pasu, but all of the cost 1 owls, and now it's so sad because you can't use any of them.
It's alright.
Because they
All you
all
have to
suck.
do, all you have to do is slap the old art on the new one, like I did. Can we move to Celica?
Oh boy.
Before I kill
Celica!
myself.
Here's a big one. So
This is very controversial because Taban thinks that.
it's the best. I
Celica is
think
very
it's the
good.
best card in the set.
I think she's strong. But I don't think she's
I think she's alright. I don't think she's amazing.
I think she's the best card in the set. I think that she's metagame defining. I think you get
Oh wow, bring me this up.
so much value out of her. because you can splash her in pretty much any deck that you're running red in, and you deploy her.
You should probably elaborate. Like, why can you splash on every deck?
That's I'm getting there, dude.
I will get on to this. It's like we have still like half the set to go. We have to hurry up.
It's fine. So she's a turn 5 play, and she's an 80 base on your turn. She'll probably be a 60 base on your opponent's turn, but the fact that she's an 80 base on yours turn is still pretty nice, especially combined with 1 to 2 range. Keep in mind that's kind of like partly the main reason why now he's considered so good. She's an 80 base with 1 to 2 range.
1-2 range.
But the big takeaway about Celica is Ragnarok Omega. It's flip 2 bonds, once per turn, destroy a non-MC unit. And I think this skill is just such a good skill, because if you look at all of the retire skills in the game right now, you have May, who requires you to discard another May from your hand. You have Family,
which is pretty expensive.
who requires you to part with a black card from your hand. So all of these retire skills require you to get rid of something from your hand. With May, it's inconsistent because you don't if you're running May.
You don't usually have
you might not always have a May in your hand. With
Family's a 6 cost, but Family's bullshit anyway. So
Olwen requires a very specific setup. Celica, as far as splashable removal goes, I think she's the best, bar none, and that's why I think she's so good. Because no matter if
it's like comparing, it's like how we were comparing Eliwood and Eirika.
Yeah,
but I think this is huge, just because splashable removal, there's pull and then there's removal, and removal is just like the holy fucking grail in this meta. Removal is what makes you relevant.
True, yes.
Removal is so important, and Celica gives so many decks access to incredibly potent splashable removal that's also tied to an 80 base on your turn. You get so much fucking value out of this card. I think this card is just amazing. I legitimately think it's the best card in the set, and we haven't even gotten into the Overclass effect. So, admittedly, before you all, turn 7, it's so late in the game, you're not wrong. A lot of the time, you aren't going to be using her Overclass skill.
The Overclass effect is rarely relevant.
But at the same time, though, in the matchups where it is relevant, it is a game changer. This card brings Elise and Grima to its knees. Elise and Grima.
Do you want me to
keep in mind, these are MCs that, prior to the printing of this card, beat 90% of the format uncontested, guaranteed, basically. 90% of the format just had no way of dealing with them. And Celica is a splashable, extremely potent removal card that comes with a built-in way to not just... I wouldn't even say check. I'd say hard counter Grima and Elise, because, good lord, remove free... You
can't maintain a field with this, you just kill up your...
just ruins them, it completely crushes their attempts at stabilization. And she just gives so much to a deck. I think she's fucking amazing. I think this card is just out of this fucking world. Star. 5 out of 5 stars.
We haven't even talked about the freaking Overclass skill. It's when you Overclass this card, kill 3 enemy units.
Yeah, no strings attached, no cost other than Overclass itself.
Comparing this to an older card that had the same effect. Family 5-4. Flip 3, you scut MC, kill 3. This is just spending bonds. Not even flip bonds, just spend bonds, you can kill 3 guys.
Basically, yeah.
Just the amount of strength and value and versatility. You play this, she's an 80 base, you basically kill 2 things. Because you get to swing into one thing for an 80 base and flip 2 to kill something else, and it's so splashable and consistent too. And she can...
Alright.
Come down.
See, this is why this card is... Why I think this card's fucking amazing. Actually, this card is nuts.
Can we stop you right there for 1 moment?
We're going to be here for an hour, literally just...
I'm gonna be a little brutal over here. I'm gonna say that even though you can destroy Elise or Grima, it doesn't matter if you can't end the game in the next 2 turns, for example. Sometimes it can be hard to end the game. Elise might have been set up and have 10 avoids in her hand or something like that. Grima could have 2 avoids. It will be more relevant against Grima, but Elise can still, it's not exactly hard.
Relevant.
I'm saying it's not a hard counter. I'm gonna say it's very strong.
Here's the thing, though.
Not exactly.
I think it's very relevant against Elise too.
is because it leaves Elise exposed, and you have 2 to 3 units, possibly even more, on the field, and all of those units are going to be smacking Elise, and all of those units will more than likely be requiring Elise to part with evades. And this is significant because Elise needs evades in order to use Elise's turn. So she'll probably have like 5 or 6 evades at this point in the game. You can get her down to like 1 or 2. Eventually she's going to have to get rid of another evade in order to Elise's turn on the following.
Obviously she can't have all her bonds because she can only like deploy like 1 dragon at what.
And that too, exactly. It's very hard for her to recover from that.
That's very relevant, yeah, okay.
So, yeah, I
won't say it's a 5-star, I'll say it's a 4, but it's still very strong. I kind of agree.
She's a 5 out of 5.
I kind of agree with Saban on
this,
but
splashable removal, bar none. Best splashable removal.
I really don't think it's.
I feel like we can argue about this later. We should probably move on.
Yeah, I think, this is
very. It's a funky new Celica. Okay.
It's better than the old Celica. Move on.
Yeah, honestly, I don't agree with that. I think old Celica is better because you get Miracle Emblem out of old Celica. What the hell do you get out of this new Celica?
Wait, this is not Miracle Emblem?
It's Emblem of Hope.
Oh, it's the look at all.
It's the look at all red. Look at one of your.
Yeah, but this one is 40 attack, dude.
You're never actually.
It's a better MC1 splash.
I think.
Okay, so if we're implying MC is Celica,
I was implying Splash. 5-star for Splash, but I think Celica MC is another discussion worth having if Family ever ends up getting banned, because as is, he's like completely outclassed by Family as far as MC goes.
Let's look at the new R card, the 3-4 Stallbreaker Faye.
This card is another very good card.
It's Faye, oh god.
Faye, okay.
You get fast fading when you cross chains, and you can also retreat one of their orbs. And the best part about retreating. The best part about retreating one of their orbs is that it doesn't go to their hand, so they don't get card advantage.
Yeah, you just kill them.
Also, the plus 30 means that you will hit them with Faye for sure, unless you whiff the support. Unless you whiff the support.
Yeah, the 30 also carries over. Yes, it carries over to the opposing the enemy's turn, so it makes.
Also, we can look at the support value.
So yeah, that's the big thing about Faye. Like, if she is a 20 support, she wouldn't be that good. But the thing is that every deck is generally going to be running at least 14 to 16 flyers, meaning that Faye is just pretty much an auto-include in any deck that's running
Faye
red.
Always will find a hole.
Yeah, pretty much an auto-include in any deck that's running red, because why the hell would you not run her over, like, fucking Clair or Sheeta? Because it's a...
I mean, you probably run both.
At the end of the day, most of the time you're just using flyers as bond fodder anyway, so why would you not use bond fodder that has the potential to be extremely powerful?
To actually have
yeah,
effect.
Exactly. And it actually has the potential to be extremely powerful and have a big impact on the game.
I guess we can also talk about the fact that it has 1 true range of Alms.
I would like to mention the fact that, well, Faye is splashable in every deck that runs red, basically. There are some decks that definitely make use of her better than others. I think that she's absolutely dumb in Joshua. She's also a very big buff to Saber and Navarre. Saber in particular, since
it gives those decks a lot more reach.
Exactly.
You can class change.
It gives aggro a lot. It gives aggro a lot more.
I don't know about aggro as a whole, because turn 5's kind of late for a lot of aggro, but I think
in most aggro decks
in Saber and Navarre in particular,
yeah, it gives a lot more reach to those kind of decks.
And then there's also the fact that in Elise, against Elise in particular, she prevents Elise from Elise's turning.
You stole Elise for a turn, which is very relevant.
Yeah, very potentially give you the time you need to prevent Elise from stabling for one last attempt at victory against Elise. Very relevant.
But Fire 2?
Yeah, Faye 2 is another...
And on top of Flyer, yeah.
Oh my god, why does Alm get so many upgrades this set? Faye 2 is plus 10 to Alm.
5 out of 5 for Faye 4. I mean, Faye 3. Let's go.
So yeah, this card's only really relevant in Alm MC, which I think got a lot better this set because of Alm and Celica Overclass. But this card makes that just makes that even better. She's...
Yeah, because base 80 on defense and attack, that's nice. It's like Alice.
Yeah, she's just like Alice and Marth, yeah. She makes all
But the thing is that, unlike Alice, Faye doesn't need to leave. That plus 10, Faye dies, who cares? Well, she's still base 80.
Faye's also a flyer, so
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, flyer, so it's not like Elise.
That being said, Elise does have advantages over Faye. She
Yeah, the
does
Alm
Alm,
stuff.
which is relevant, but they're both
Elise.
very good cards.
Alice has a deploy skill.
Alright,
Clair.
on to Claire. Who
Kind of
cares?
relevant in
Claire.
Matilda.
Kind of relevant in Matilda. Why not just run Clive
That's
MC at this point, since to do Clive
Ah.
Overclass?
Ah, but Matilda. Matilda.
You know what? It's a flyer. It's 2 out of 5.
Actually, I guess she is more relevant in Matilda than Clive. Yeah, fire, 2 out of 5.
It doesn't matter. It's
Yeah,
Matilda. Move on.
Matilda, you're right. Now we have. So, I love Alm and Saw.
Why is this card so
In
gold?
general, I think that the Overclass have some, like, the best artwork in Cipher ever. Alm and Celica are more representative of this of any other Overclass, but
Dude,
I think that...
Clive is so shiny. Holy shit! Like the first time we saw this card, we're like, "Who the hell is that?"
Yeah,
and we can't even
yeah,
recognize
I
him.
could tell.
Nobody could tell me. We're like, what the fuck? Who is this dude? He looks so cool. And then everyone was so disappointed. It was just, it's fucking Clive.
Oh, it's just Clive.
Okay, but we should explain the skills. The skills are actually very...
So when you class change into Clive, you can choose 2 reds from your hand with a deployment cost of 3 or less and deploy them.
Matilda and Jagan.
You have to be red locked.
Matilda and Jagan.
Red locked.
Those are always the units you're deploying.
The reason
I
you
think
choose
Claire's another
Matilda
one.
and Jagan is with the second skill, which is when you tap one of your allies, all your allies get +10 until the end of turn. So you just tap Matilda, Matilda untaps
Reset
herself,
Matilda.
and all your
Oh, you can
units
do
are
the same
enemy
with Claire.
attackers.
We can do the same with the previous card we just saw. 3-2 Clair. 3-2 Clair resets itself.
2 out of 5 flyer. And the last skill, at the end of your turn, you can choose as many units as you like and move them.
Alright.
But then
Yeah,
the
they
front
have to be
row,
front
right?
line.
So,
They have to be front row.
So this is good because if you fail to kill them, you can move Clive and have all your eyes in the front be shields for him.
so
Yeah.
here's my thing. I think that Clive is a good way to balance an Overclass card, because Clive has a decent Overclass skill, you know,
And a
but he
decent base
also
card.
has a good skill even when he isn't.
He also has a good
Overclass.
skill
So
after
if
he's
you're
been
running him
overclassed.
Yeah, the
as
base card.
if you're running him as Splash, which I actually think Clive has more potential as Splash than as MC.
Then
MC,
Oh, really?
yeah, because you can deploy him on turn 4, give +10 to your fire
Then tap
deal,
+10.
which is really
Yeah,
nice.
that's
Which is
virtual.
very nice in a lot of aggro decks because you're running your boards and your chords and your Ogmas. You make your Ogma 70.
Can't you do that? Can't you do the same thing with Tsubasa?
Yeah, you can, but
You run
Tsubasa
both.
isn't as splashable
What?
because
Tsubasa's 20 support.
yeah. But the thing is though, is that as a turn 4 play, you're going to need if you're deploying Tsubasa on turn 4, you need something else on the field during the time of deploying her that's capable of moving
Isn't
her
that
and
the same
blocking
with
her effect. No, you can.
No,
You
no,
can
you
rest.
just fly in the back row.
You can talk
And then
yourself.
put Tsubasa in the back
that's-
row, and then move her
that's
up.
Right, lol. Okay, that's
Tsubasa.
yeah, that's true. But Clive
Tsubasa.
has the benefit of longevity because you know what?
He's the same base as Tsubasa.
Yeah,
Clive-
It's the
Clive's
same
not-
base as
yeah,
Tsubasa.
Tsubasa is better than Clive as far as the non-overclass skill goes. But I think that
Yeah, there's a big difference, right? Clive's on a horse.
No, Clive. Oh wait, no, Tsubasa also.
so Clive does have the option of a non-overclass skill, but he also has the option of the overclass skill too, which can double as a turn 6 play, and it can be potentially very powerful because you can deploy
Yeah, it's a big
deploy with
push.
Clive, Matilda, Jagan all at once. If you're playing like say
And they're all 80
Serious
base.
MC, yeah, they're all 80 base. Your opponent has -10, and then all 4 of those units just swing at your opponent's MC. It's pretty scary.
Can we just skip the next 2 cards?
What is this Delthea?
Forsyth,
okay.
Forsyth, and
Oh, Forsyth and Python.
I don't even know.
Python.
Yeah, Python.
I forget what Forsyth.
I don't even know what it
I
do.
remember.
I know that
I know
Forsyth
that
is
Python
anti-armor.
was really fucking bad. When this unit is deployed,
Okay, now I
it's
remember.
20 attack
Yeah, plus 20.
until end of
70
opponent's
base.
turn. Ooh.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
okay.
we're talking about
Keep
10
in
supports
mind,
and about powers.
deployed,
right?
not class change, so
Yeah, it's
it's a
alright.
70
yes.
beater that you're not running SMC. This guy's fucking awful, and Python is even worse. He's a 3-2.
Yeah, when it says deploy plus 7.
40 attack that lets you return him to the hand.
Why the hell would you return a 3/2 of 40 attack
You
to
waste
your
your entire
hand
turn.
to deploy him again? Actually fucking terrible. He just like he ruins your field presence.
Can we just ignore these two cards? Yeah, like I feel like we don't even need. They're pretty.
1 out of
I think a lot of
5
people agree
star.
that. Forsyth can be okay with Clive just because you can summon it out, but I think you'd rather run Jagan.
Yeah, you'd rather run Jagan. Because 20 support.
Okay, Luthier.
1 out of
Luthier, I
5.
do have something to say. Luthier's, I do have some things to say. Luthier's a very interesting card in the way that it allows mage MCs such as Leaf to actually just not run back cards like Eirika.
That is true. You can.
We're going into Leaf now.
I actually didn't consider that. That is true. That is true.
Like Brand gives you Tome.
I don't think you'd run this in anything other than Leaf, though. Lux.
What about
it's
Myrrh?
alright. You can run it in
I run it in
Delthea.
Myrrh.
That's
Myrrh is
true.
another
You
deck.
can run it in Myrrh. That is actually true.
Like, there is a few situations where he is good, and the base card itself isn't even that bad. 3/2, 50/20 that can become base 60, 1/3 is all.
Yeah, that's fair. I think he's good in.
The body is fine. I like his. I like
think
him.
he's good in decks that he's relevant in. But
think he's
anything
alright,
outside of that, I wouldn't use him in. Like,
Yeah, so stuff like Leaf, Merrick, that
There's
kind
too
of
much.
stuff.
There's too much that contests his spot. So
3
Yeah.
out of 5.
it's about deck space. Yeah, 3 out
I
of
would
5.
say
He's
three.
good.
That's a
Luthier.
1 cost.
Luthier 1. If you control only Luthier and Delthea can pass.
Oh,
That's.
it's
Is it
a
permanent?
beautiful.
It's
It's a
permanent?
beautiful. It's
it's
only
on
doing
the
a
effect-
turn.
Delthea
It's only new, doesn't it?
aggro. Delthea aggro.
Oh, dude, you can play it on turn 1 in Delthea.
Speaking of.
Are you sure it's until you're only on your turn?
Yeah, it's only according to.
Yeah, so you can-
Hey,
according-
speaking of Delthea, let's move to Delthea.
God, I
Dude.
cry every time. I cry every
Okay, here's the bad example of a Overclass.
Yeah. I guess Clive is kind of shitty too, because like
But
Tsubasa
the
that's
thing
kind
is
of
that-
outclassed, but at the very least he's better than Delthea, because Clive.
The thing is that Delthea's base card is
Delthea
crap.
doesn't do anything if you don't overclass her.
There's only 2 overclass cards that don't do anything as base. Those cards are Delthea and Faye. Faye gets let off the hook because she's a flyer, meaning that you're using her as bond fodder 80% of the time anyways. Delthea.
Yeah, and if they don't kill her, you can overclass her again.
Delthea does not have any such luxury. As a card that you are running in your main deck and not in your flyer deck, you'd expect this card to do more than just be bond fodder, but I feel like that's what she's going to be doing most of the time if you're splashing her. She's a
Shall we
turn,
explain the
she's
skills?
a turn 6 play, and you need 2 cards to do it, and the skill itself, honestly, is like not
It's
that
not
When
good.
you class,
It's-
change into Delthea, you can discard
Yes.
2 random cards from their hand.
You discard 2 random
Yeah.
cards, so it's not a bad effect. But it's
Yeah,
it's
fine.
underwhelming though, especially for a
What makes
turn
it still
6
bad is
play.
because you-
It's a turn 6 play. I think that's a big kicker.
Yeah, it's very slow.
Yeah,
It's very slow, and the base card is pretty bad.
yeah.
The base card, if you control more cards than your opponent on offense, gain +10 and 1/3 range. It's not even on your opponent's turn, it's only on your turn.
Sadly, there's no real merit to running this thing as MC. You only really want to run her as Splash, because as MC, as we've made abundantly clear, she doesn't do anything after your overclass. You don't want that as your MC. You want your MC.
You need to
something
constantly
that-
overclass her,
Yeah,
which is
as
difficult.
MC, you need to be constantly overclassing her. I have a Delthea build. I run Fred. I run Fred in my late game Delthea deck, so I have
Oh, you're so
I
desperate,
have
man.
something to deploy during my Delthea overclass turns.
That's so
Then on
desperate.
turn 6,
That's
on
desperate,
turn
isn't it?
6, I can spend 5 bonds to deploy Delthea, 1 bond to deploy a
Desperate,
rescue
man.
flyer, and then I have Fred in the front row, so I can use the rescue flyer, tap Delthea to move her back, give her 1 to 3 range. Yeah. And then you run Larachel, so that way you don't need to deploy anything in order to get evade
You
back
sound
in
so
your hand.
desperate
Yes,
to run.
that is the name of the game. That is the name of the game as far as Delthea goes as MC. It's desperate. Very desperate. This card it's just not good.
Okay, let's go
Yeah,
on to the
no,
next
I'll
one.
Very-
be generous. I'd give her a 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5 is what
I
give
just say
it
1.
to.
She isn't even fun to play. She's not mean.
Yeah, discard is just like not even
1.
that fun of a skill. I give her 2 because.
I give her 1.
I give it 2 because she has some nice
Give her
art,
2
and I'm
because
biased.
Waifu. I waited so long for this card. It was so bad.
Let's-
Dear
They teased it. They
God,
teased it. They teased it on 09.
Let's move to the next
Let's move
card.
on before I kill myself.
Okay, Boey.
Why does
Boey
Boey get
treats
2
it.
cards, but Delthea only gets 1?
How do we know?
That's another issue of Delthea MC. Lol, only 12 evades in a deck that you're sacrificing an evade every turn in.
Every time.
And also promote on...
Okay, Boey skill. Is it most in combat with Tome?
While attacking a Tome...
No, it's only when he's attacking Tome.
Oh, then you can discard Tome to draw one, so it's Rajat. It's Rajat 3-2R. Lol.
You have
How
better cards
do
to
you know
run than
what
this.
that is? What the fuck? Rajat 3-2R? I didn't even know Rajat had a 3-2R.
Alright, 2 out of 5, it's budget.
1 out
it's
of
not
5. Why
The
would this
cost
card's a
one-
1 out of 5? This thing's terrible.
The thing is that Boey SP is amazing.
The thing that,
And then you
the
look at
thing
this.
that makes me most sad about this card is I know Duck's gonna MC him now because Boey got a 1 cost. Is it good? I've
Good.
never seen it before.
It's when attacked by
I
non-Tome,
guess it's fine.
give us a-
It's pretty good as far as 1 cost go. Too bad the 3 cost is like completely unfair.
Let's go to Genny.
Oh, Genny.
4-5. 60-20.
Yeah.
When you
When you
overclass
class
this
change,
unit,
when you class change
when
into
you
Genny,
class
if
it,
you have 4 or less orbs, you can choose
choose
a
a
card
card
in
from
your
a retreat and add to our
and put it in your orbs.
So,
And then flip 3 to heal 2 cards. Different names.
so honestly...
Now, the reason
Duck-
why
yeah.
Genny's skill is right is because you can choose your main character, and that acts as 2 hits for you, because that will be an evade and that will be a warp hit.
Honestly,
very
I
nice.
think that Jenny's main relevance isn't even her overclass. It's just the fact that
It's the
if
45.
you look at Maria. Maria is Red's main 4/5. She's a 3 cost, 50 attack unit.
3 cost 50 with 1/2 range. Flips.
It's the same skill as Jenny, except she requires you to tap. Jenny, you get a 60
Jenny
for
doesn't.
1 more bond. You get a 60 attack unit, which is very important. 60 attack being greater than 50 is
Contest a lot of
very
background.
relevant. And but the big thing, not only the 60, is that she doesn't tap, and the skill isn't once per turn either. So she can,
So you can technically flip 6 to 9
so
bond.
she can
Just to salvage
technically
a bunch of stuff.
use her skill multiple times in 1 turn. But not only that, you get to attack with your 60 base unit on the same turn that you heal with her.
And this is important.
So in general,
Yeah.
you just get a lot of value out of this card, and I think that she's very good as a result.
She needs a better
And
cost
the
one.
fact, yeah, her cost one's
Yeah, that's
pretty
true.
shitty, unfortunately. Unlike most
It's just a hit.
it's not. It's
But,
not. It's
you
not. No, it isn't that. The cost one can only. It's a Clarine. It can only heal units that are on the field already. So it's like.
Oh, it's because they gave the client.
They gave
Okay.
her.
They gave
No,
the
it's a
clerics
Meridon.
Yeah, they
range.
gave her rage because Echoes and clerics have Nosferatu, I guess. But yeah, I think Genny 4/5 very good card, and the Overclass is just a bonus icing on the cake. Or,
Yeah, it's a bonus on you already
already
used it,
good
but-
card.
I'll say
4 out of 5. I
perfect.
give Genny a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5 for Genny, yeah.
I'll say 4 as well.
Valbar.
Okay, let's move to Valbar.
Gold!
Golden Australia Jubilee!
Roiling manliness.
What a name for a skill, man. Roiling manliness.
Okay, let's explain the skills. Zap an ally, gain plus 20.
Very good.
You
with
can
discard
discard a
a
Valbar
Valbar.
from hand to gain plus 20 at the end of the turn until the end of the turn. And then the standard armor, anti-armor
So,
shenanigans, like when you want to attack by the
I've played a bunch of Valbar MC. And my opinion of this guy is very negatively skewed because I played 5 games with him. I missed promo with him 4 out of those 5 games.
That is not good. That is very unlucky, man. God, what is wrong with
But that being so, I do have some stuff that I would like to share based on this playtesting that leads me to believe that I don't think Valbar is that good. Although, do take it with a grain of salt because my luck as a whole during playtesting was really bad. Either way, the big thing that I
So what happened in that one game that you finally went?
the big thing that I dislike about Valbar is that you promote him on turn 3, and he's a 60 base. So if your opponent's already promoted for a 70 base, you promote him to your shitty 60 base. You don't have any unit on the field to tap in order to become 80, and you're just swinging into your opponent as a 60 base, and you're not fucking hitting because you're a 60 base, and it's just shitty. He's not even 2 range, so you can't target shit on the opponent's back row or anything. It's just like, and unfortunately, the only way to rectify that 60 base is by tapping a unit. This can be pretty troublesome a lot of the time, because Valbar's skill encourages you to run a very high top heavy, as Lux likes to say, deck that runs a lot of high cost units, and you pay off from running those high cost units because Valbar keeps them protected using the skill. The problem with that is that you're running a bunch of high cost units, and oftentimes those units will be the only units on the field that you can tap in order to give Valbar plus 20 so he can swing as an 8. This is where you run Lyon. Here's the thing, Lyon is the only card that you'd ever run in, like, Valbar.
Clair,
not running Clair, dude. You know what, I guess you could run Clair, but you don't want to run Clair.
You know what Clair does, right?
I know what she does. Yeah, she untaps when you tap her, but at the end of the day, she's just a 50 attack unit that's probably not even going to be doing anything if you untap anyways, unlike Lyon.
Did you say 70 attack because you tapped her and discarded Valbar?
No, the plus 30 is at the end of the turn.
Plus 20 is at the end of the turn. It's not... Yeah.
What?! Okay, I changed. I lied, I'm sorry. Alright, this card's not as good as I thought it was.
It's still decent because you compare Valbar to shit like Hector. Hector's main issue is that he has no means of generating advantage on his own. He needs to rely on his field in order to generate advantage. Valbar has the same issue, but he mitigates his issue by protecting his field. Unfortunately, field removal is very prevalent right now, so that niche will only really carry him so far. So that kind of hurts him quite a bit. If ever it's just the fact that shit that I've talked about already. He's like a 60 unless he taps something. You have to play Lyon, which is shitty because you'd rather be be playing like Lino or someone else as your turn 4 deploy. That I've found at least. It's nice being a 100 base on your opponent's turn, unless you're against a tome, in which case you're an 80. It's nice from a defensive aspect, but I feel Valbar is really lacking as far as offense goes. I really wish he was...
He's lacking in a few areas. I
really wish that he was more just like Hector, where he was just like a 70 base, and he became 90 on defense. I feel like he would have been a lot better.
My issues with Valbar is that, like you said, Valbar's buff for field really doesn't stop the fact that he's field backs. He still gets destroyed. In the field, still gets destroyed by
There are some decks that won't be able to deal with Valbar's field. At the same time, those are the same decks that auto-lose to the meme Eirika Kyle Ford builds, so... I hesitate to give...
I usually need to try that.
I hesitate to give Valbar anything higher than 3 stars. My least favorite thing about him is just that 60 base really fucking sucks on a 1-range unit. It really sucks.
Yep.
But the fact that, his other issues aren't really doing him any favors. He's a decent OC. He's decent. He's way better. He's a lot better than, Hector or Xander, a lot of the other, me big power, me hard to hit type MCs. Valbar's a lot better than those guys. But that's not saying very much, and he's still not that great, unfortunately.
I feel bad, man.
Valbar costs 1. He has Attack Emblem instead of Defense Emblem, which is actually super nice. Attack Emblem's a lot better than Defense Emblem.
Did 1 to plus 10.
Skills are relevant.
Plus skills.
Attack Emblem.
Yeah.
It's the only thing worth noting here.
Kamui.
Kamui.
I have no idea what Kamui is.
Kamui.
This guy's bad.
Do we have to rate him? I really don't know what he does. I remember
Foodie's thought that he destroyed MC with his flip free skill. He's just like,
oh, that'd be great.
Kamui's pretty good. He destroys MC and then
No, Foodie said that you could. I thought it was you could do it whenever, but it has to be at the end of your turn.
Yeah. Was that it?
Which makes him bad.
I don't know.
Whatever, let's move on.
After this unit attack, you can untap this unit. Wow, okay.
Life's too short.
Alright, let's move to Leon.
Kamui.
Move to Leon because...
Kamui 1? What does Kamui 1 even do?
When this unit doesn't die to battle, he gains +1.
He's alright. Not great.
Yeah, he's very sticky. It's hard to kill.
This turn, it's +20 during, it's very whatever. It's pretty situational, dude. It's not often you're gonna spare anything for a 1-drop.
Move to Leon. It's not worth it.
Leon is perfect.
Leon is a good card to run in Valbar.
Leon is perfect in every way.
His viability hinges on Valbar's viability. If Valbar ends up being good, he'll be good. If Valbar isn't good, he won't be good. His rating is the same as Valbar's.
He's alright. Yeah, he's alright with Valbar. Leon 1 is unplayable, right?
Works scarily well with Valbar. What's Leon 1 do?
He's a
plus 10 with cultural by 1.
he's a 20. He's one of those
Think how
shitty
bad
20 attack Echoes archers. Yeah.
It doesn't even have wing bait. No.
Yeah, the nice thing
Okay,
about
let's go
I'd like to go for Leon's skills. The nice thing about Leon is that he's a 61 to 3 range, so it's really cool.
Yeah.
Snipe your opponent's back row if you use it on your back row, but more than that,
And it
he
forces
hits-
them to try.
more than that,
You can flip one to salvage.
salvage a copy of
Salvage
So
Valbar.
he's very good in
Yeah.
Valbar.
Yeah, it gives you the deck board control and stuff.
Yeah, he gives you board control, he gives you sustainability. He's not bad.
She's cute.
It's,
He's cute.
Let's move on.
Oh, you know who's cute? Rinea is cute.
Rinea is interesting. I will admit, Rinea is actually quite interesting.
you're only running her in Percute and Harden.
Harden. Yeah, but it's interesting. Like, okay, Pot of Greed.
Yeah,
Okay,
If you randomly
you
top
have to randomly
If you randomly
top
top deck her, if you have no cards in your hand, you
Or in
do.
theory, you could save
Exactly.
her, wait until just manually get yourself down to 0. Like you have 2 units in your hand, Rinea. Whenever you deploy 1 unit, then deploy Rinea. I think she might have some merit in Rush, being able to help, help you get out a little bit more before you completely fizzle out. At
You
the
run
end
out
of your
resources,
rush.
yeah.
So I think she's
Yeah,
cool
that's
in
about it, I
that
guess.
regard, but she's like a 50, and she's a 3 cost 50. 3
It's
cost.
alright in the cards. I mean, in the deck
3
that you
cost
run.
50
It's
is
upgrade-
pretty.
it's upgrades
3 cost
per
50 is pretty shitty in Rush because you want generally Rush is wants if you're getting a 50 attack in a Rush deck, generally it's expected that card's like a 1 cost, not a 3 cost. So
Or 2 cost maybe. 2 cost is actually cutting it a bit far. Actually,
yeah,
that's it.
because there are 60 attack 1 costs that are staples in Rush,
Caution.
Shannon, Tabarn, Ogma, etc., etc. Skrymir.
Skrymir and friends.
So I don't think she's very good. I'll give her.
Okay,
C,
let's move on to the
maybe
next
D.
OC. I'll give her 3 for the fact that she has both Great Synergy and Harden Synergy, which could be interesting.
So this video's going on really long. Well, let's do the OCs first. Yuzu, I don't even...
Yuzu, Armor Slayer, plus 30 gets armor, then flip 1 to get 1 to restore.
What
Damn!
does Yuzu even
She
do?
doesn't. She doesn't do anything.
One attack...
She's Armor Slayer.
Amazing. Armor
Amazing.
Slayer, flip 1 to gain +1/+2.
She can hit Amelia,
Gain
dude.
1 to 0.
She can hit Amelia regardless of range.
At the very least,
Oh man.
she's not a 10 support. That makes her better than a lot of cards in this set.
Yeah, she's Priestess.
But she's not very playable.
Yeah, she's still fucking terrible.
Lando.
Randall.
It's weird. If you control an even number of allies at the start of your action phase, gain +20. If you control an odd number of allies during your opponent's action phase, gain +20.
Gimmicky, odd,
Bad.
move on.
It doesn't. It's just a beat stick. It's like 80. It's like whatever. And yeah, one out of
Very
5.
odd.
Okay, so you get to the colorless.
For Lando,
This list is going on super long, so I don't even want to dedicate that much time to any of the colorless because almost all of them are just completely unplayable.
but Marth is okay.
I
and
want
Chrom's
to cherry
okay.
pick a few of the
Valbar
relevant. I
is
want to
okay.
cherry pick a few of the relevant ones.
Can we ignore Tweedledee?
I think Lianna is
Lianna's
really
decent actually.
Yeah,
Rowan
but-
soon.
Tweedledum is
decent
okay.
compared to
Rowan's pretty shitty.
compared-
Yeah.
Yeah, Tweedledee sucks.
No one else
Tweedledee
I'd
sucks.
rather lose to.
I think Chrom's like no, Chrom's not it. Marth is
Chrom's okay
okay.
in Marth.
Alright.
Chrom is okay in
First
Marth.
card I want to talk about in the colorless batch is Lissa. Cost 2 Lissa.
Mitama, Colorless
Yes.
Mitama.
Colorless Mitama. So if Celica,
This basically kills Mitama every deck that you play Mitama
it also
in.
kills Grima because I think that most decks would just want to run a single copy of Lissa because having access to a Mitama type card actually just makes the Grima matchup so much easier because you can really
She's so
you can
annoying.
really screw Grima over with
Yeah, exactly, no reason.
Mitama procs. You can really screw them over.
You can screw over at least
I
too.
think
Yeah,
Lyon is
you
okay,
can.
kinda.
So in general, I think the theme of this set is just you get a lot of anti-Grima Elise.
Good playable
A
cards.
lot of anti-Green and Elise, which is pretty cool because
these MCs have been like super dominant the last 3 or so sets, and now I think they're gonna fall off a bit. They're still gonna be very strong, but there's a lot of
but it's not gonna be as
very legitimate counterplay that exists to beat them now. You have Faye, you have Overclass Celica.
So are we using cost 2 Lissa because we want to flip 1 to get plus 20 attack?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can I
go 4 out of? I'll say 4 out of 5. This is pretty good. Colorless as
It's
well.
not 4 or 5 as well. How about Lyon? Lyon is interesting because
Lyon
does have synergy with all of the
Lianna. What?
Who
are you talking about?
Tweedledee.
Oh, Lianna.
Lianna.
I guess we can talk about
Lianna.
Is that her name? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's FV1 draw a card when your opponent gets destroyed by it.
I have nothing to say about Lianna. I think she's generic and uninteresting, and she's outclassed by better MCs. I guess you could run her if you want, but like, I think she falls into the 2 out of 5 category where like, why the hell would you ever use this over something that's better?
Now let's look at the perfect way. Marth. Marth is amazing.
I want to go through some other cards before we get to Marth.
Fine.
Let's talk about, in my opinion,
we go through the cost one of these, the best
one other really good card, or like decent.
Ryoma 5-4.
Shut the fuck up. The one other decent colorless card to come out of this set.
5-4 Xander.
Darius.
Darius.
Colorless Lyn. I talked a bit about Colorless Lyn's use in Micaiah when I went over Myrrh. That's another thing that compounds onto the list of cards like Graveland, Celica, Lissa. Creates powerful stall-breaking cores, which is really nice because I'm sounding like a bit of a broken record right now. It may or may not be 3:45 in the morning for me right now, but Dream and Elise before the set had like 90% win rate against the format, and there was just no counterplay. And I think this set changes that a lot, and I think it's a really good thing for the game. Unfortunately, Family still exists, but other than Family, I think this game's getting a lot more balanced. Either way, Colorless Lyn.
Lyn's very solid, yeah. The fact that she has board control with her first skill to be able to kill an ally randomly off the top deck, and the fact that she can be force unavoidable if there's no allies for no cost, by the way.
She has that random support skill.
Why does she have that anyways?
If you're attacking and destroys your main character, you can destroy another enemy, which is situationally useful.
Situational, but it's nice to have.
It's not going to do anything, but I guess it's
better than
it's a consolation prize for when you get a 10 support.
Yeah, it's the fact that it's there is nice.
Yeah. Big thing, of course, really though, is the unavoidable. Basically,
it's a free unavoidable.
Yeah, Colorless Lyn becomes unavoidable if your opponent doesn't have any units on the field. And this is not useful in most decks, but I think it is definitely relevant. Some decks, there's a Micaiah combo that I talked about with Olin. I think that you can do something similar in Sanaki with Curved Naga.
Gemmy is another thing, I guess.
Gemmy wipes your own field.
Who cares? You can kill them.
No, it matters because you're going from the field wipe, then Gravelyn on the same turn, so... Oh wow, turn 8, I'm gonna play Gemmy and Gravelyn, I'm just gonna kill my Gravelyn.
No. Well, like, Lyn MC shit. Lyn MC, you just might as well go on Gemmy if you want to get the
so though, like, whatever.
The fact she has I don't know, I feel like the fact she has destruction of
I feel like Lyn is like super generic. I think her main potential really does lie as Splash.
Is in Splash, yes.
It's Micaiah and Sanaki, and I think there's 2 other decks. Soth, I think that she's just naturally good in Soth because Soth just kills everything that your opponent plays.
Yeah,
and then you have Lyn as a nice finisher. I think it could definitely have merit because Soth has traditionally had trouble dealing with stall outside of Elise.
That's true.
He has trouble dealing with
and finishing people off it. This is
and I think that Colorless Lyn might be able to help Soth deal with Rinea a bit better. We'll see though. And then finally, Itsuki, or ST Itsuki to be specific. 5-4 Itsuki base decks aren't going to run this card, but ST Itsuki decks I think
have a good deal of
They have a
promise
chance.
because ST Atsuki runs Chrom 5/4, and you can run cost 1 win. Let me pull her up real quick.
The Colorless
Colorless cost 1 win. Who's an attack emblem. You can run like 4 copies of the attack emblem and 2 copies of the cost 4, so you don't fuck up your support ratios too hard. And then you can just play it on a Chrom turn. When you go for
and then barrel down with
play, you pull up your opponent's entire, like all of your opponent's units with Atsuki's skill, and then you use Chrom's skill to class change your
Make
Lin
your
1 into a Lin 4.
Then you buff your
Lin
with
4
a
becomes
Chrom.
80. The whole works. You play a Fred, and just end the game on that turn, ideally.
Yeah, you barrel down upon them one
Pretty
turn.
much, yeah.
Damn.
So I think that she has potential in Atsuki too. Could make it.
They've really been trying to push for this colorless archetype, like colorless decks.
Yeah, they're trying to make colorless decks a thing.
We give a shout out to Tiki. She's a money card, and she has really good artwork. As a card, though,
Surprisingly, she's not that money compared to.
Dude, she's 2,800, which is way more than she deserves. Because the effect is just like
2,400 now.
went down, but the effect is like super lackluster though. Like, it's a worse version of Set 1 Tiki 5, which is all we've discussed this a bit. Is already like a card that's basically unviable just because of how hard it's been power creeped by family. And this card is a worse version of this.
Yeah, that's a big thing about this card, I feel.
Yeah,
it gives
Tiki
MC a bridge promo, basically, because Tiki MC...
And the bridge promo draws a card for you.
Exactly, that's a big thing, because Tiki MC, it's like really painful easing into the cost 1 into the cost 5.
It sucks because you don't draw cards, and doing it on turn 5 and you didn't get any Bond Excel prior.
And you're probably bullied all the way
it's
to
still
the...
a 60 base. If this comes out a turn earlier, you draw a card from it, it's a 70 base.
And it can
and
potentially
it can
protect you and your
Bond
friends.
Excel, and it becomes an 80 once you get to 7 bonds. And then once you get past 8 bonds, you can finally just switch into
Switch your
Tiki
promo,
5.
yeah.
So I think this makes Tiki MC better, but at the end of the day, Tiki MC...
It's Tiki MC.
It's not even that, it's just that, like, I used to play Tiki MC a ton before Family. It's a fun deck to play, but after Family's release, there's just, like, it just feels like, why the hell would you ever run this when you can just run Family?
One family.
It's literally, yeah, Family literally just does the same thing except better, and Tiki still suffers from that same issue. Hashtag ban Family, please. Please. Hashtag ban Family. That card's disgusting.
Hashtag not like this.
Fuck Family, man. Fuck Family. Let me play my Tiki MC, please. Alright. So now Lux is gonna go over his stupid colorless archetype, and I'm gonna pull up cards and not say anything because I'm half dead and I have nothing to say about this stupid archetype that's extremely vanilla and generic and bad and unplayable. Take it away, Lux.
Come on. I actually think Malfortune is actually alright. It's
just another one of your stupid non-MC poolers.
Come on, please. It's a base 80 on offense with 3 pull. That's it. Very clean, very simple. Doesn't do too much, sure, but it actually helps you. The color stock allows you to run cards like Chrom, which is also quite nice, plus 20 if they force them to evade. You can run stuff like... what's this called again? Shit. Pretty much you can run anything with it, really. Just because it's colorless, it gives you a lot of flexibility. Wow.
Can we cut the video here?
You sure you don't want to go over Xander Rioma, Lux? You sure you don't need to make this video?
Yeah, Vance, you said you wanted to go with Max, didn't you?
No, we should go over the new cost one at least. It's another release for release.
Exactly.
There you
go. Oh yeah, sure.
Look at this cost one Elise, guys.
Why is it so chibi?
It's fucking Elise, what do you expect?
But
stop trying to make Ninja. Some closing words. Stop trying to make your Anna decks because they will never be real.
Please, Anna cost 2 hits on Anna for free.
You cost 1 Anna. It's my dreams have finally come true.
my last words will be play Darius.
Alright. I'll end this off by saying that earlier in the video I said that Crombie is the worst deck ever and he runs 20 Risen. I wasn't being serious. That was an exaggeration. Although I know this is probably too late in the video to say that, because if you got offended by that, you probably already left an angry comment explaining how Chrom doesn't run 20 Risen and how he isn't the worst deck ever.
God damn it, Siobhan! You don't know anything about this game. It's so dumb. Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it for you.
Yeah,
Don't worry, guys, I helped you out.
Yeah. I wasn't being serious. Although I am not a fan of Chrom, I don't think he's very good, but I was exaggerating. He's not the worst MC ever. So, yeah.
Hey man, Darius is in the pack.
So yeah, closing words, set 11. What do we think of it all?
The odds are good. Yes, that's probably not
a lot of interesting choices. Majority of the SRs go a bit questionable.
The odds are very solid this set, though.
Yeah, they're pretty solid.
Yeah, I like, yeah, we had some good RS. Overall, the SR quality wasn't that good, unfortunately. But I do think that overall this set was fairly good. Like, Ephraim's massive disappointment.
Okay.
The colorless archetype as a whole is also a massive disappointment, in my opinion.
It needs
At
work.
the same time,
work.
you got a lot of really cool cards. I just can't emphasize enough how much I love the fact that we're introducing so many ways of countering just the completely broken, over-dominant stall archetype. And I think that we really will have feasible ways of like,
Dealing
with exactly, for the average deck to actually
fair.
deal with it. So I really appreciate that. Next we need a family counter. But yeah,
Okay,
before Taban gets into another rant.
I like this set a lot because of that. I like Overclass Celica a lot.
yeah, I can tell. You've been orgasming about it since
I'm really disappointed.
We
I'm
can
really
tell.
disappointed about Delthea, but I still think this set's overall, it's not a bad set.
It's okay. It's okay.
I don't think this set's completely unplayable, like certain people are saying. I won't give names.
How long is this?
I think it's
how
fine.
long have we
we've
been going on for
a while.
anyways?
It's high time we put an end to this video.
I think it's been about 2
Yeah,
hours.
It's been
Christ.
over 2 hours. I think it's been like 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Nobody's gonna watch through this whole thing.
If you did make it to
Yeah,
the end
probably
of this
not.
video, thank you so much for watching and listening to us ramble on about the new set. I will be.
We probably ranted way
Yeah,
too
we
much.
probably did, but
Saban's
we
dumb.
hope that you found this video somewhat useful or informative. I know this is something that we're not really used to here in this community, but yeah.
We offer our opinions. Please don't flame us with our opinions.
Yeah. Again,
I think Marth is actually okay. I'm like
a lot of this is going to be subject to change because Seth just came out or whatever. I'm going to be making deck list videos. I'm going to be making some videos on a lot of the new MCs. I'm going to be going over deck lists and explaining my choices for those decks, and then I'll be recording myself playing through a few games of those MCs. Well, basically, I'm sorry, it's like super late, so I'm super fucking dead right now. But I'll be like explaining my thought process as I play those MCs. Hopefully, just make some more informative content.
It's a common of two.
Yeah, very professional. We are not foodies at Penta. Let's just get that out.
Wow, name dropping, yeah. Name dropping, yeah.
I mean, I'm not insulting them or anything. I'm saying that they're more professional than us. Yeah.
Let's end it off. See you in Series 12.
Yeah.
Series 12 is green. I love green. Green is amazing.
Series 12 is blue. I mean, blue and yellow as well.
Please give more love to green. Screw the furries.
What the fans?
Screw the furries. Give more love to Mia. Mia's amazing.
Smash that
Screw
like
that.
button.
Give us another SM.
Smash the like button.
Give us another SM for it.
Subscribe for more memes.
Subscribe for more memes.
And if you think Saban's a poopy head, just subscribe anyways. Probably should.
If you like this video, I will send you a real-life Pokemon in the mail right now. Okay, I'm fucking ending the video. Thank you for watching. Have a great evening.